Hi, folks. Welcome to our unexpected arrivals, damn near D&D streaming wonderfulness. Hope you all having a great time here. We're all excited to have you. Everything's all great and wonderful here. We're going to do a quick round the docket and give everyone an introductory here. So why don't we stub up in the top left there at our player labeled in the green. Cookie, Roswell Threadbait. Oh my. All right, we'll go drop right on down from there. Teamer drinking his coffee, looking mighty ready to play, coughing a bit. He's playing Walsley. We don't really know anything about his character. And in the center, right below me, down there, hi, Brady Bunch style, Holly playing Akira Kummar. Don't know if we've ever heard your last name. She's a dragonborn. And heading right on over to down there. That's Beth playing the character Kendra Apple. We heard lots of her last name. She must be important or something. And she's playing a Swarlock. Up above her, immediately to my right, if you're looking at the screen, not literally to my right, there ain't nobody over there. Oh, it's Dora! Dora's actually right there. She's through the sky. All right. We're going to do the entire episode like this. It's going to be great. She's playing Tavern Halis.
This coming after Casey did an entire bit in the car about how the term horse thieves came from horses stealing things.
It's true. That's why there's no electronics in the Wild West.
The horses stole them all.
They're renowned electronicist thieves.
I'd like to choose Cookie for the block.
All right. Circle gets the square.
I assume this is some kind of
Hollywood Squares.
America.
Yeah.
America, oh, this is you. All right. Well, I don't really remember what we normally do for introductions, so that'll have to suffice for now.
You kind of like, I don't know how you can follow that with a normal introduction.
I don't know. I don't even remember what the link is to the list of things that I'm always supposed to remember. But thank you for making one that I can reference. So, big shout out to Roll20.net for all your virtual tabletop needs. Thank you for making us part of your Spotlight program. We try to do you proud every time we stream. We'll get it right sometime. All right. Oh, there's a fortune cookie in the Discord. What does it say? You never hesitate to tackle the most difficult problems. Panda Express.
It's impressive.
That's too much.
Perfect. So.
Oh, he's really gone.
He's gone.
Oh, no. Well.
Well.
Oh.
I made it.
Excellent. Right on time. All right. Last time on Unexpected Arrivals. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Live play, live stream, live characters, live players.
Too soon.
Too soon. Last time on Unexpected Arrivals. The party in Vesular, a coastal city in the Dracoran Empire. Home of Wizard School, the Bremeraldi School of Divination and Abjuration, now accepting applications for the spring semester. I don't remember what we were doing last episode. We were chartering passage to Aradore on a ship, amongst some other things. We met with an old friend from our past, Mr. Edmund Cainsley. a professor, if you will, and we will, of the arcane, dark, and scientific oddities of death, known for his affinity for long walks in the graveyard and pets.
Monstrous pets.
He likes pets. Monstrous ones. So, learning all sorts of information about what is going on in Aradore and the formulation of a plan. A what? A plan. What is this, you say? It's a course of action that our players have predetermined might be worth taking. They won't follow this plan, but they have it right now. It was actually given to them by an NPC for purposes of plot. So, you've also have in your possession, which you made a decision on, the Staff of the Elders, the real one. It's ancient, it's powerful, it's in your bag of holding. Staff of the Elders. So, we leave off after having brokered a deal with the Bloodthorns.
Rose thorns?
Rose Thorns, Bloodthorns. They were originally called the Bloodthorns, but I changed them to the Rose Thorns. Because this is a kids show.
What?
I feel like I say fuck too much for it to be a kid show.
Oh, that's our one
That's
per the
our
episode. Both of those were our one. There are parentheses around them. It counts as one. Actually, if you put the one over the other, because we were talking math earlier, then it's just one, and we lose
Yeah,
the
fucks cancel out.
The fuck, but you said that again, and I did it
God
again.
damn it.
All right, children's show. So, we are definitely not going to get sidetracked this episode. And brokered a deal for passage aboard a ship with the Rose Thorns. And departing the next morning, we now have approximately 24 hours, a little less, because you, for some reason, said at dawn. I guess that's a good time to keep track of. To basically supermarket sweep our way through Vesselar, and the party has given me an extensive list of questions about things to buy. So we will see how this pans out. So we're going to start with a little bit of bookkeeping. So,
Yay, books.
I love books. All right, so we will start. I'll just start at the top of this list and work our way down. And since you're buying these things in very short order, within 24 hours, buying magic items tends to be a bit more expensive. So to reflect this, we have come up with a formula. You have a base price plus a certain percentage, which will be based on a roll, and that will get added to it. And then you can decide whether or not you want to purchase this. If you are planning to purchase from the Bloodthorns, you may be able to wheel and deal your way into a better deal, as they do take favors, deals, and other things of that sort, if you wish to embroil yourself further. Without further,
already got my blood, so
without further ado, let us cue up some buying music.
is it just the Jeopardy music?
Negative. Copyright. So, Wand of the War Mage has been requested, a +1 item by Kendra. All right, give me your 1d8 to determine the percentage of extra costs here, and then I'll try to do math in my head live on the air.
Oh, no, why do I have to be so good at rolling?
So, the roll was
8.
an 8. That means there's an 80% increase in price.
Please do math for me.
So, that is 900 gold pieces for Wand of the War Mage.
Okay.
All right, next is Ring of Water Walking.
Oh, wait, this is me again. Let's find out.
Yep.
Greedy.
All right,
There
all
we
right. We brought it back.
So
We got
that's
a 1.
30%. So that is 520 gold pieces. Doing pretty good. Nobody's checking my math, but I'm doing pretty good, I think.
All right, so that's.
Somebody's writing these down, right?
Wait,
Yeah.
what was the first one? Kelly?
900.
900.
So
Look at the
that's
glee.
14
She's like, yeah, it's good.
1420 for both. Okay.
All right. Cloak of the Manta Ray. Who wanted that? So Cloak of the Manta Ray is 50% more, so that's 750 gold pieces.
Nope. I'm gonna stick with my diamonds.
Cloak of Protection.
We already scratched that one off. It's too expensive at its base price.
Roger that. Studded Leather.
I will roll for this.
Shirted Leather.
Oof. 5.
So that is 70% more. So that is 850 gold pieces.
Okay, I can still afford it.
Insignia of Claws. Is it like a subordinate clause?
It's actually Santa Claus.
Oh,
Nice.
raptor claws?
Raptor class?
They just go, I
Roll
hear.
1
They
D.
just go.
Oh, it's /R. That's wrong. That's wrong.
Wah wah. Not my first rodeo.
That's wrong as well. That's wrong as well.
All right, so
I
that's
rolled an 8.
80% more. You guys did not do too well here.
It's like we were set up to fail. Huh.
I mean, it could have just been 10% more, which would have been very cheap. So, what is that? 80% on top of 500 is 900. That math I already
No,
did.
80% is 400, so that's what it costs, right? Oh.
Yeah, on top of the 500.
What if we take it away from the 500 and it's down to 100?
Yeah, I
That's
like
the
that.
discount.
It's different.
Oh well, I'm guessing the party funds can't accommodate that.
Probably not.
All right, let me undo everything I've done.
So, you guys have some decisions to make. Also, healing potions and diamonds and stuff is all at normal cost. I posted those costs elsewhere in the Discord. Spell scrolls also have information there if you're looking for that. You do have magical items if you wish to sell them.
So we can just mark off what we buy for diamonds and dust and stuff?
Yes, I would like to know, but just if you buy a 300 gold piece diamond, simply subtract 300 gold pieces.
I would like... what about dust? Is diamond dust a different...
If it just has a gold piece marking, like it's a spell component, then it's just...
It's
Well, I would like 400 gold piece worth of diamond dust.
Done.
And
Deduct 400 gold pieces from your stuff.
And 1 diamond worth 300.
Done. 700 gold in.
The tuning fork, is that...
Does that have a gold piece thing on it?
Good question.
I'm waiting for the good
I will
answer.
find. It is 250.
Well, then that's how much it costs.
Okay.
So you're up to 950 gold pieces? Am I doing math right?
It's all coming out of my own, so it's okay.
Yep.
And then I would like 8 leather straps.
Free.
Do not ask why. Do not ask what those are for.
You can have 8 leather straps for free. We'll just
For
say
free?
that we'll just say you spent 700 gold at the diamond store, and then you were like, "Ooh, how much are those straps?" And they're just like, "Go."
Nice.
Get out of here.
Oh wait, we weren't
You know
role
how
playing.
sometimes diamond stores just carry leather straps?
Leather straps are a girl's best friend.
I also was with her, and I bought 3 sets of 100 GP diamond dust, so for 300 there, and then 2 diamonds worth 300, bringing my total to 900 gold pieces.
Would you like complimentary leather straps?
Yes, do it.
Yes.
How many
All right.
straps do you need, Holly?
There's 3 more complimentary leather straps.
Cool. Let's write that down.
If I want to get both the things that I want, I need 100 gold from somewhere. I can sell something, or if there's party loot left over.
Let's save that for the. Let's go
Sure.
through and finish doing stuff that we're just doing out of personal funds.
Sure.
So how much did the studded leather come to? I rolled a 5, so it's 50%,
850.
right?
850.
Mathematically, it's 750, but that's fine.
What, 750?
I wrote down
If I rolled a 5, then that's 50%.
Yeah,
250.
750.
750.
I'll correct that.
So I will take that
Just put a footnote in, and you can do it with.
out of my party funds, which leaves me with, or my own funds, which leaves me with 25 GP, and I have +1 armor.
Woot.
However, I enter that onto my character sheet.
Go into the global modifiers.
There it is.
The top
Custom
right.
AC plus Dex plus 12 plus Dex, so 13 plus Dex.
No, don't do it there. You can go into your leather armor and literally add a magic bonus.
Oh, I can. Do I even have leather armor equipped?
You can use the compendium and drag a +1 leather armor to your character sheet if you would like.
It's truth.
Fancy features. If you have your character sheet up in the center of the thing, you can just click on that eye, type in the equipment you want, click it,
There
and
it
drag
goes.
it on. And
Custom
it's there.
AC is not being used. Use custom AC unequip armor.
What is she? What's happening?
I can figure this out. Continue on, everybody.
Good luck.
Continuing
See you tomorrow.
on.
I'm confident in my ability to overcome this.
All right, so
Oh, that's what the issue is.
that's everybody's personal stuff. You guys gonna get like Affy a gift or?
Oh, I've like
So-
embroidered her stuff.
Wait,
I
Affy's
was
coming?
making her a very nice bookmark.
Is she joining the ship here? Because I'm out.
You guys
There's
are
no way.
dropping coin.
Oh, is there a place to buy enchanted thread?
Sure.
We could get her like a #1 hostage mug.
You are our favorite hostage. You're
Never
the only
forget.
hostage we haven't killed.
So what are we looking at for like party loot left over?
Well, we haven't spent anything out of party loot yet.
So I can.
So
Like
I think
100?
you're good to take out 100.
Cool.
And then how much did Walsley's thing come out to, painfully?
Painfully,
900.
it was maxified.
How much was it?
9.
It was 80%, which is 400, and then 500. So 4 and 5.
Is 9.
That's the one.
I think that's okay.
What?
Because I mean, I have 250 gold left over from my personal.
I undid everything. I'm redoing it.
That's 250 there.
I'll take it.
Party loot. Okay. And Kendra took out 100. Yeah, so we can do that.
Sweet.
So that wipes out. All right, so that I'm gonna keep
Where
back.
we're going, we won't need gold.
Or insignias.
Yeah, because it's undead.
Wait.
Wait, watch you guys get there, and it's just like, we have established this complex commercialization system in which you have to just pay your way into Aradore. All you need is 1,000 gold, and the lich will kill itself.
I have these diamonds.
Diamonds
Yeah,
are
they
worthless
accept
here.
We've got these leather
Okay,
straps.
so 1315 minus Kendra took 100.
Why don't you
Minus
just take out those 2 diamonds right there? See how there's like 250
Yeah.
JP of diamonds?
yes.
We can use those because they're tiny and can't. We
Okay.
don't have jeweler's tools to crush them for anything or whatnot.
Okay. So we have another 100 GP on top of that.
How much would
Math.
enchanted thread be if I wanted to get enchanted thread?
What
don't
is
think
it
there's-
enchanted with?
+1. +1 thread. It's a garrote.
It's an experiment. I don't know. It was a thought.
I don't know how to say that word. I'm
Can
gonna find out.
someone tell me one more time how much Wall
37 for the thread.
900. Dora.
900
37
even?
gold?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
900.
I don't know what it does.
I don't know either.
Oh, I said it right. It is
It
garrote.
gives you +1 to all sewing checks. Cool.
Plus.
Well, that's our episode. Thank you all for watching. This was fun. Tune in next time where we
did pretty good. I
role
don't
play brushing our teeth.
Oh. Yeah.
Here's the teeth brushing encounter. Going for the incisors. All right, everyone happy? Happy smiling faces? Participating in the virtual economy that I've set up?
Yeah.
Capitalism, but role playing.
RP Capital.
My favorite.
Great. And all of you, I would like you each to give 5 gold pieces to your favorite person in chat. Cannot be yourself.
Wait, we have to do what now?
You cut out.
Yeah.
Oh, I said you have to give 5 gold pieces to your favorite person in chat, and it cannot be yourself, you narcissist.
In character or out of character?
Yes. So you figure out how to do that, and we'll move on with our story.
We might be here a while.
Yeah,
My
I
favorite
know.
is Commander Root. Our longest, and most consistent.
It's like every time we stream, Commander Root's right there. All right. So, what would you all like to do aside from shopping with the time that is given to you?
Is this what is this the day before we leave?
It is the
Yes.
day before the dawn that we leave.
Okay.
In no particular order.
And any certain time of day that it is?
It is, let's say, mid-afternoon now that you've all gone your separate ways and done your shopping. Is that acceptable?
Yeah.
Do you have time-specific plans?
I'm just trying. Well, okay.
You got to take the notes, I know.
Yes.
Hour
That
3.
too. And well, I wanted to ask Walsley, since he's a sailor, because I've never been on a boat. You know, do I need some sort of training? Are there some sailor exercises that we can do to prepare ourselves? Or do I need to take a trip to the library?
Wrong on all counts there. Can you swim?
Yeah, I
Then-
was in the
then-
water. Whatever.
Then the worst that can happen is you're going to have to.
That's the worst that can happen.
That's it.
Wow.
Oh, what if I get sick? Is there some sort of magical potion of seasickness? Not seasickness, something?
No, just make sure you throw that kind of chum overboard.
Do we need buckets? What about
If you're not near the rail, yes.
some sort of goggles to make me see underwater? Do you think
You
that
see-
would be useful?
I've never heard of such a thing in this time and age, but yes, okay. Whatever you think will help you swim, because likely you will be swimming.
What about different creatures that are in the water? Is there certain creatures that I need to be aware of?
Yes, much like anywhere else in the world.
Well, I've never really been.
Anywhere
No.
else in the world, I get it.
Yeah. No tips?
Like, do you want me to tell you what creature's going to show up? Because I can't. It's like walking into the woods. It's full of whatever.
Well, like, what precautions do I need to take? Like,
Can you
what
do
do I need
this?
to know about?
Okay. And also, you're a prey type, so you should do that. Maybe there should be some sort of... That would be great if we could get some blessings from whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
I usually do that at night.
You know,
Unless there's a
whatever
special
suits you, that's fine,
circumstance.
yeah. I got no
Do you
tips.
wanted some training, Kendra? Have you ever been on a boat?
Yes, I've been on a boat.
The training will likely be hands-on and by whomever the taskmaster is.
It's sort of like being on land, except there's less of it.
I feel like it's gonna be hard for me.
Everything's hard for you,
I
Akira.
think that's true.
Oh, is there any sort of like books I should go and check out from the library
What
that would
No.
be useful to us?
Akira, I think
Nope.
you should get the longest book you could find, just to keep you busy on the boat.
Well, it was like my understanding that we would all be kind of busy. You know that she said that we all have to work or you get thrown off the boat.
She did say that.
So I'm just trying to be prepared
To
so
be
I can
thrown
be
off of a-
useful. No, so I can stay on the boat.
Kendra walks away.
Oh, okay,
Damn it, gravity. Why are you like this?
never mind. I'll do it tomorrow morning. Never mind.
Fair enough. What other things do we need to do?
Kendra would like to go and find Sir Iva. Oh wait, this is the wrong fucking city, ain't it?
Yeah.
Kendra would like to Kendra would like to find one of the people
You'll
that
need
can
a
do
bucket.
can do sending.
Yeah.
Well, you just walked away from one of them.
That's fine.
There's two left.
This is quicker. I would like to find Tebrin.
Okay. Tebrin is finishing off his shopping and is putting on a fresh set of armor.
Tebrin,
Yes.
could you possibly help me send a message to our beloved friend Sir Ivo?
I don't think I've ever. Well, no, I think I have met him once.
Yes, you've
I
met
wouldn't
him.
go so far as to say beloved.
You know,
Yes.
be optimistic.
What are you saying?
Anyway, could you tell him that, our trip to Aradore is... How many words have I got again? Don't say this part.
I have. Tebrin is just standing there with his arms crossed across his chest, and he's just like, I haven't started casting yet.
Okay, how many words do I have?
I don't know, keep it short.
25.
25.
And then you get roaming charges above that.
Is the roaming charges psychic damage?
It's actually higher percentages on
Alright.
purchases in the future.
Tell him Kendra here, leaving for Aradore.
I'm not gonna say that. It's not Kendra here, it's Tebrin here.
Right, but
You're gonna hear my voice.
if you just talk to him and he's like, well, who the fuck is this then?
I will say I'm speaking for Kendra.
Okay, don't waste my words. Keep it short.
They're not your words, they're my words. It's my magical energy.
They're our words.
I'd like to roll for initiative.
Anyway, tell him, leaving for Aradore tomorrow at dawn. Teleport to Vesular if you want to come still.
We don't have a way to get him on the ship.
We'll find a way.
Oh boy. I would just like, just to be, so we're really clear about where everything stands. If one of you does something, I'm the one who's gonna get skewered for it. Probably literally.
It's probably fine.
It's really not. Be on your best behavior.
I'm always on my best behavior.
You're
My
never- your best
just
behavior is
happens to
bad.
be terrible.
Create a new, be better. And I start casting sending. And communicate what Kendra just said to me to Sir Iva.
All right. The message completes successfully, and after a few moments, you get a reply back that Sir Ivo is helping organize the crusade, if you will, to Aradore.
Ooh, third
And
person, nice.
Will likely, yeah, this is all in his voice, and will be disembarking from the eastern coast.
This is fine.
He is still crusading. They will be setting off on their own.
Perfect. This is better. Now we don't have to get you skewered. Thank you,
Yay.
Tebrin.
You're welcome.
See you later. Kendra walks off again.
Bye.
I have nothing else to do.
Feel mildly used, but
Well, welcome to D&D
could at
party.
least buy me dinner. He yells
You're like
after
a
her down the street.
You're like a payphone without paying. She kind of like pulls her coin back up on the string.
You still have that pay-as-you-go plan?
Yeah. All right. It's Bard Mobile. Anyone else have things they want to do? Or don't want to do, but will do?
I need to speak to Kurut.
All right. You know where to find him. He is
I do.
currently within the Bremeraldi School of Divination and Abjuration, now accepting applications for the spring semester.
I'm not a wizard. I'm gonna go find Kurut.
All right. He is in the Bremeraldi School for Divination and Abjuration. Easy enough. You are led to his makeshift office. It looks equally disheveled and spread out as it has been, seemingly hard at work. Karut kind of looks up at you. Yes.
Tebrin pulls out a chair and spins it around and kind of sits on it backwards and leans his elbows on the back of it. So, good news. I have got us away into Aradore. Bad news. Probably best if you pretend you're not Empire. Or step down the Empire.
First
Do you care to elaborate any on this plan?
We got in on the ship that Cainsley had already arranged for, but it's being run by the Rose Thorns. So I bartered my way onto there with my crew, which in this case is going to include you. Sorry about that. I guess we probably should have brought that up with you first, but I have made the agreement with her, with all of the blood that entails. So the good news is that we will be able to get on the boat, and the boat will get us where we're going. Probably more quickly than most other things would, but you can extrapolate out from there for all of the negatives.
He just sort of pauses for about a minute.
Let's just say I haven't discounted the fact that I'm gonna die before we even get to Aradore because Kendra or Akira go and poke their noses into something that they shouldn't have poked their noses in.
Well, it was nice of you to include me in this endeavor. Do you feel that my affiliation with the Empire is going to put what you're doing in jeopardy?
I think that the Rose Thorns, or at least the leader of the Rose Thorns, doesn't like the Empire at all.
Well, one would likely guess not. And from what I understand, they've managed to evade any sort of legal interactions with the Empire itself for quite some time. I fear that me accompanying you is something that might go noticed, even if it's kept quiet. And then what?
Well, I mean, do you have an alternate way to get to Aradore?
Well, I could
I mean, this is
perhaps
stepping off from any sort of... This is your fight, too. You have, as they say, skin in this particular game.
Right, but it's also part of my duty here to make sure that we have the best chance of succeeding. So perhaps if I vanguard the invasion force coming from the east and entrust that you and your comrades will clear the stalwart gate for us, we can rendezvous then and make our way into Romont together.
All right. It would be one less thing to worry about, I suppose.
At this point, I would feel more comfortable limiting the possibilities of things that can go wrong.
That's a very long list.
I'm doing my part.
All right, then. Well, I suppose that's that.
You know how to get a hold of me, correct?
Tebrin starts like the first couple of gestures for the somatic components of sending.
Rudimentary, but that will do.
It's all that I personally... I mean, there's only so much magic that I have access to. I haven't devoted my life to studying it.
It's apparent. He kind of walks over and goes to the bookshelf there and kind of rearranges a couple of things and opens a small like wooden case and takes out these two kind of like almost like russet potato-sized stones that have like runes engraved on them, and sort of holds them both in his hands as he walks over and then sort of touches them together. They glow softly in this kind of white light, and then he hands you one of them.
Well, that is much more elegant.
Indeed. It's a more efficient way to communicate. Can only be used once a day, but should you need to get a message through, this will receive it and store it, or if I have it in hand, will deliver it to me, just like your sending spell.
All right. Put that into a pocket. I'm going to add that onto just for our own bookkeeping, onto the party loot instead of my own personal, even though it's with Tebrin. Are these sending stones?
Sure.
Okay. I think that's technically an Eberron thing.
Just get on the lightning rail and you'll be there in a jiffy if it doesn't eat you first.
Those train beasts. They're vicious.
Treasts.
If you will.
I will.
You have.
I did.
It's happened.
All right. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, just, and he kind of offers Karut a hand. Keep yourself safe.
Sort of shakes the hand briefly. You as well, and I'll see you at the gate.
Cheers. And kind of slaps him companionably on the shoulder and heads out.
All right, so exiting the Bremeraldi School for Divination and Abjuration, now accepting applications for the Spring Fest.
Does it just say that on a big banner underneath the
That's
name?
actually the name of the school.
Okay.
They built it into the advertisements. Other folks, what have we got to do?
I want to stop by my order.
This can be done.
Okay.
Can I come with you?
Or
do you want to go alone?
No, you can come with me. I just might need to do some stuff in private if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So this is the order that Roswell grew up in. This is the one that she was left at. So it's looks a lot like the one in Chora, but this one is the real deal. Doesn't feel like a replica like the other one did. So I'm gonna go and just say hello again to these people I haven't seen in 7.5 years, just about. So
it hasn't been 7.5 years for you.
No, but for them it has been. Like 7 years passed for them. So
True story.
But it might as well have been, that time stuck in the Feywild. Anyway, but Roswell's lived several lifetimes since she left. Actually, technically, how long have we, from beginning of campaign to now? Is it a few months?
How long has it been for us?
Say probably pushing half a year-ish.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Because we kind of the travel back from Aradore took at least a month, if not more. So
sure. Okay. So, and Yeah, it probably took. Okay. So yeah, so I'm gonna go and see if I see any faces I remember. I believe there. I don't know. I just kind of want to have a little homecoming, if you will, and ask some questions about how people worship Istis, because I've seen a few different ways and there's questions.
Are you looking for anyone in particular?
Maybe Sister Seneth, because she was the one that taught at the looms, and she seemed very prayerful and knowledgeable.
All right. So going in, and you can see this is sort of reminiscent of, as you said, the replica in Chora, but the stonework is kind of has an old sort of aged, well lived in nature to it, but it's still kind of these grand arches that have been made a bit cozier with brilliant, finely embroidered tapestries. There's warm kind of brazier lighting as you go through, but there are kind of sort of pockets where the light doesn't cover everywhere and kind of gives it this nice natural kind of warm, homey feel to it. As you enter the wing of the building, where all of the looms and the various embroidery equipment is, you see this sort of nooks kind of in off of this central hallway. They're kind of like rooms, but with one wall removed, so you can kind of go in. The large looms are sort of set up in the back, so you could kind of walk all the way down this long sort of causeway and sort of see what everyone's working on. And it's almost akin to sort of walking by and seeing people sort of like knelt down in like in prayer in a church, sort of that same feeling. And something very slowly fell off my desk and alarmed me. It was like a cable that went up, and it was like,
Oh god.
it was like, there's a snake in that boot. But there wasn't, because I'm not wearing boots. So, you do find going down a couple that Sister Seneth is there, sort of standing over what looks to you to be someone very young and kind of new in the order. She has her hand sort of just like resting on her shoulder, just thoughtfully kind of watching her go through the loom, and occasionally she just kind of like reach down and like adjust one of the threads or something, or like fold another one over, and then like the girl there will just sort of like look up at her and back down at it and just sort of like nod a little bit and then keep going. But they're not really talking. You can tell there's a lot of communication happening, but they're not really talking. And as you kind of approach, she turns over her shoulder. Roswell.
Hi.
Hello. Well, welcome home. And she comes and sort of hugs around you lightly.
This is my friend Akira.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Akira.
You as well.
I just wanted to stop in and say hi. And do you have time to talk?
Of course. Walk with me.
And I'll just stay. I'm here if you need me, but I'll just stay and look at things.
Do you want to learn how to birth a baby? Have you birthed a baby, Akira?
Nope.
Do you want to learn? Because the baby wing is right over there. Or you can help the people that are dying over there.
Oh, I'll go do that. That sounds better.
Clerics.
Cool. Okay, so you can go that way, and if you ask for Sister Halette, she's
Help
really
them all die.
She's she's really good. So I'll catch up with you later, okay?
Okay, I'm here. I'll be there.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to help them immediately.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
15 minutes later, she's like, I'm all out of spell slots. Ma, can I have some more spell slots? Continue.
So I've been traveling, like you all sent me out to do, and come across some other worshippers of Istis, and it's been really weird. Like,
How so?
well, up in Chora, they've got this Unity Temple, and I swear to God, they're just stoned all the time, staring into smoke, looking for the future. And that just seems really passive to me. And then we ran into these other people that were only worshiping the maiden, and that was like totally imbalanced. And they killed my friend, and they're really evil. So it's got me wondering a lot about what we're doing here, and how, like, why would Istis let that happen?
Do you remember the first lesson that I taught you?
You sharpen your needles.
Well, after that.
No, I don't. There was a lot of lessons you gave me, and they're all kind of blending together. They're woven together, if I should say.
Just sort of like nods, acknowledging your intricate wordplay. The destiny which everyone seeks is it's a difficult concept for people to grasp. It's ephemeral, but there's a need for us to quantify it and make it tangible, so we feel like we have control of it. And we don't. You don't control your destiny. You can guide it. You can choose your path along it, like you would perhaps guide an animal under your care. But ultimately, your destiny must be loyal to you if it is to follow. And you to it.
How do I make my destiny loyal to me?
That is the nature of what we pursue, what we hope to achieve. How do you discover how to be genuine and authentic to your own destiny when you don't know what it is? What does it mean to fully find oneself centered and comfortable?
I don't know. I think I just do the thing that I feel is right in front of me. I fill her in on finding my parents and finding. I pull out the staff. So this is in front of me right now. It's pretty powerful and dangerous, and I could lose myself in this.
Or you could find yourself in it.
Oh, I should have seen that coming.
There are always two ways to view destiny. And one is hopeful, one is fearful.
Can I be both?
Yes.
Well, I think I'm more worried about the people that have been unbalancing the worship of Istis, and it's just really, I don't understand why she would give them gifts like she's given us gifts. And like gifts with a T, not gifts with like a motion picture type thing.
Oh,
sorry.
You mean GIFs.
Oh, right. Oh, I always forget. You always taught me so well, and I just, oof.
Clearly ignored everything.
Yeah. But it's like graphic. It's a graphic. Why wouldn't it be? All right, that's fine.
Preach, Roswell, preach.
So, but I guess I just want to warn you because they've been some of them have been here, so I don't know if they would come here and do anything or whatnot. But I just want you to know about them, and maybe pray on it or ask us just to. I don't know.
There are many ways to approach that which we conjecture about. Ours is simple and peaceful, while others may try to force destiny's hands. They may prey upon the angle of fear rather than hope, in a goal that it drives progress faster, that instead of taming and befriending the beast that is destiny, they lash it to yoke and master it for their own purpose.
Well, yeah, that feels pretty dangerous. Did you hear about Sister Isolde? You must have. I wasn't there when she left, but I know she cared for me and whatnot. So, this might be the last time I ever see you. That I ever come back here.
Well,
Not.
I hope that is not the case.
Yeah, I just feel like this journey I am on is not going to bring me back to anybody again. So,
Fear or hope?
well, that's the thing. I hope we conquer this. And
You can leave
I'm
it at
afraid
that.
of it. Yeah. But I know
I
that
hope you conquer it as well.
yeah. So, cool talk. Do you mind if I pick up like just some just thread and cloth and stuff like that on my way out?
But
I've been making some things and I kind of show her like all the things I've made. Spent a little time telling her about each of my friends. I've made kind of a piece of cloth for each of them throughout my time. And with different symbols and how they, just their story. I haven't really shown any of them that, but I've created it for them. I stuff them back in. So, yeah.
By all means.
Okay. And I'm just going to find a quiet space in the courtyard for a little bit, if that's okay. My room's probably been given out, huh? You've probably given somebody my room.
Unfortunately, yes. Space
That's-
is always something that...
That's okay. I'm just happy you had another soul to fill it with. Just, I hope they didn't find my carvings a little weird on the wall. It's okay. That's fine. Thank you. I give her another hug and find a quiet corner and I take out the staff and I begin to attune to it. And because I haven't done that since we've gotten it back. And I'm going to talk to Istis as I'm doing this. Kind of asking her I'm not casting a spell. I'm just kind of praying and that kind of, but I'm gonna need your help. I have this gift to bear and this wrong to undo. The people of their Aradore had their lives stolen from them en masse. The people in the Feywild too. Peachful creatures. Fable. Anyway, so one person took that away and it just feels corrupt and unnatural. And I know I'm harnessing the powers of the elements, but I have you to guide me. I can do this. I can do this. And I've seen other ways people worship you, and I realize there's not one right way, maybe just the right way for me, bringing souls into the world and helping them ease out and doing what I'm doing now. So I just want you to know I've got you on my heart, and I'm hoping you're with me. And that's kind of like, she's just kind of circularly thinking that over and over again. And it also feels weird to not be sewing while she's doing this, because she's got to hold the staff to attune to it. So that feels really weird, but anyway. And then she finishes attuning to it and goes and finds Akira. Go.
All right. So that whole process, the conversation and all of that, took probably half an hour or so.
Yeah.
Akira, you head down into sort of the ward, the wing where there's people with various ailments. It's in some ways sort of a hospice as well as a hospital. And you do see walking by a couple of doors, people are somewhat busy going back and forth, but it doesn't appear like it's a huge sort of scene of triage. You see there, lying in one of the beds, there's sort of like a curtain kind of half pulled across the window shade, so it spreads light over half of the room itself, and then the bed is on another half. It's kind of in darkness there. And lying on that bed, you see Mogranal. And as you sort of step past the door, the sword on your hip begins to glow. And you hear that sort of whispery, unintelligible sort of strings of that voice. You can't quite make out what they're saying, but it just sort of goes. And you feel yourself kind of turn and step into the room and then shut the door behind you. What do you do?
What are you doing here?
The body there, the head sort of turns, and you can see that the eyes have kind of like glazed over. And Mogranal is definitely alive, but there's something strange about him.
Even stranger.
Yes. And he doesn't really respond. He kind of reacts to you entering the room, but doesn't sort of respond like, there's another person, I should interact with them with some of my catchy song lyrics.
So he's not like sprouting out some weird phrases and acknowledging my existence. He's kind of glazed over.
Correct.
Okay. Do I recognize the, I don't know, whatever's going on with him? Have I seen this before?
Would you like to use medical check or some sort of arcane check?
I'd go with medical first.
All right, give me a medicine roll, please.
19.
All right. Looking over, it appears that the body is somewhat comatose, except aware, in that it's kind of in this like almost dreamlike awake step somewhere where you sort of have outward perception, but the rest of your body is dreaming. Like your body has gone to sleep, but your mind is still awake. And as you kind of look over, the sword sort of glows more brightly, and you can feel this kind of like warmth of it against you, and it feels good. It feels right. And you just hear the voice now coming in a little bit more succinctly, a little bit more clarity to it. And you just hear, "You are the hand of justice."
I'm gonna try and push that thought out of my mind.
Make a wisdom saving throw. Counter spell.
26?
All right, that is good enough. As you feel like a little bit like sick and uneasy, as you kind of push it back, but feel like you're still in control.
Okay, because I don't know if this will work. Let me read this one fast. No, that's not really what I wanted to do. Okay, I'm just gonna try and talk to Margie. Are you okay? What are you doing here?
Margie.
He sort of looks at you.
How did you get here?
There's kind of like this like scratchy, gravelly, very labored breath as he sort of like exhales something out, and it seems like he's trying to speak, but there's just like not quite enough force to push the words out.
Oh God. Okay. Let me read one more spell. Spells. Oh shoot. Yeah, I'm gonna try and remove curse. I don't even know if it's a curse, but I'm just gonna try it.
So casting a remove curse on him. As you do, this sort of warm kind of divine energy swirls out. Little sort of flecks of snow make their way down and kind of lightly coat the body like it's been coated in this sort of dusting of frost and ice, and then they sort of fade and seep in like they've melted away into him as the magic sets in. And his eyes gain a little bit of clarity for a moment, as they had been kind of just almost completely like milky over and white. And again, this kind of gravelly breath comes out, and you hear him say, "The merit of a gift can be weighed only in the hands of its recipient."
Merit of gift can only be...
The merit of a gift can be weighed only in the hands of the recipient. You've heard him say this before.
Oh, okay. What do you... Are you talking about the sword?
Gone for a lifetime. What happens in an instant?
Yes, you've said that before.
You hear the voice again in the back of your head. It is the unbalance that consumes him, and his misery.
Um, I'm gonna try and hold that thought too.
All right. It's not a command taking over you,
Okay.
but you do feel with each one of these, you feel the impulse to kind of resist it, sort of knowing what's going on. But there's also a part of you that just like is like, that's actually
That's why I'm trying to
kind of a good idea.
I'm trying to use the roll as a way to determine what my action would be. Is
All right.
that
Yeah. Go ahead and make a just regular wisdom check then,
okay?
as you kind of fight this inner struggle.
That'd be a 5. Natural one. Okay. I'm going to take the sword out of its sheath.
Killing them really was the only way.
And
As you
I'm
do, it just sort
staring
of
at it.
glows brilliantly. It's like seeing this like beautiful clear full moon, and how like the light kind of shines off of it, and it's just silvery brilliance. It's truly beautiful, and as you brandish it, it glows in a way that you haven't seen it before.
So I'm kind of just taking that in, but still, this is taking another life, and that is the complete opposite of what I would do. Even though I don't particularly like him, or like the fact that we picked him up from the astral plane, I don't want to murder him. But also, I'm here for a reason, and that reason is to be the hand of justice now. So, with that, I am like frozen with like this glowing brilliance in front of me, kind of shaking. I don't know what to do. And I'm not sure how long I can fight it, but I'm going to try and fight the urge to strike.
All right. As you stand there, sort of like blade kind of poised over him, doesn't seem to move or flinch. The light not really affecting his eyes. He doesn't turn away from it. And again, you hear sort of the voice of the sword in your mind. And as you've brandished it, it's the voice has sort of grown stronger and much clearer. You hear it now right alongside sort of like your inner monologue, the voice in your head, like it's another kind of friend there offering you counsel. You must right the wrongs of the world. Imbalance is contagious. These people are in danger.
In danger of what?
In danger of falling from the natural order of the world. You must correct it, set them on course.
But how do you know what is correct?
I will tell you what is correct.
It doesn't seem right. He has a life.
A life out of balance is not a life that can sustain. I will, in time, impart you the knowledge to decide these for yourself, but first I must trust that you can follow the simple edict and be the hand of justice for the world.
I don't know who you are or what you truly represent. How can I trust you for me to trust you?
Ask your questions, child.
Who is he?
Who
Who is
this
Martin?
man sitting in front of you?
Yes.
He was a mortal like yourself, but walked too close to the divine. Seduced by the power it might bring, with only personal gain as expectation, and it brought ruin upon him as it defied the order of the world. His time was one of turbulence. His life must be forfeit.
Why must it be forfeit? It can't be corrected. Has he had a chance to correct his wrongs?
You are here to correct this wrong.
What did he do that was so wrong?
The power that he has is not his to obtain.
What power does he have?
The power of a goddess. Do you agree that no mortal should wield the power, that only gods have the wisdom to touch, to behold?
How can I say that when my power comes from a goddess?
Your power comes from a goddess, but it is not that which the goddess wields herself.
Are you saying that he stole the power from, what was her name? Because it'll take me like 10 years to find her name in here.
Aradore.
What is it?
It started with an M.
Yes, it did start with an M.
Mishea?
Mishea.
Is that the name you're trying to get to?
Yes, that is the one.
How the power came to be is irrelevant. The order is upset. You must impose the natural law to balance these forces.
If you can tell me, honestly, that he stole the power from... What's her name again?
Honesty.
Mishea, then I will, without question, be the hand of justice.
Powers was not his to take, and yet he wields it.
But Mishea didn't believe that. Mishea believed in the mortals. What if Mishea gave him this gift?
Do you claim to know the motives of gods?
No, but how do I know that you know the motive of gods?
I am one, child.
Then why can't you tell me if he stole this power from her?
He manipulated the goddess, and in doing so was elevated beyond where he should be. He should have died a very long time ago, yet here he is, insufferable, selfish, clinging to an existence that threatens the world with its imbalance.
Okay, I have one more question for you. Are you in alignment with Mishea?
Mishea and I fought side by side to grant the race of mortals a place, an order, and instill upon them the enlightenment and justice that would lay the foundations for the world in which you now inhabit. He threatened that.
That doesn't really answer my question, though. Like, are you for her or against her? Like, you fought, but did you make up?
Mishea is dead.
And did you kill her?
No. the one in front of you did.
Okay, that I don't have any more questions. I will be the hand of justice. Thank you very much for your questions and answers. I will now strike Mashea. Not Mashea. I will actually use the sword now.
All right. So you plan on doing what with the sword?
It is very hesitant when I do it, so the strike is like
Oh, it's a hesitant murder.
it's a hesitant murder.
Oh, okay.
That's the name in my new mystery novel.
You know how sometimes like you're gonna commit the murder, but you're just like you're not really feeling the vibe.
Look,
Yeah.
look, Judge. I know I killed this guy, but I hesitated.
Okay, so I've never done this before.
So your hand, somewhat trembling, kind of goes up. You don't need to make an attack roll because he's not moving.
Oh, okay.
And he's like not conscious, right? And as you sort of like hold it down, you can feel this sort of like force, almost like steady your hand, and kind of give you more confidence as you turn the blade and sort of hold it over him, and then you just push in right in through his neck, and you just stab in, and he kind of exhales. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't make any sound, and there's just sort of bright, radiant glow as it pierces in. And you don't go like the whole way in, but you go until you sort of hit the bed that he's lying on, and then pull out. And there's this brilliant kind of flash of light that's blinding to you, but then you feel this like surge of energy as it kind of absorbs into you for a moment, and it feels amazing. It feels like everything in your mind has sort of aligned, and that all is right, and that everything has been put into order.
So my hesitation and all that is gone now.
Yes.
And this blade is my new friend.
So no more hesitant
So,
murder.
Akira, you may increase your intelligence score by 1.
Woo! Okay, I'll do that.
Oh, this is gonna end poorly.
Oh boy.
Like, is that permanent? Or while I have...
You don't know. I mean,
Okay.
you're not like, wow, my intelligence score just increased by 1.
Okay.
But you do feel this overwhelming sense, and as the sword sort of pulls back out after this flash, sort of in the last sort of gargled, exhaling breath, Margval just says, "Worship the troubled silver skies, shay the breeze."
Sure. And I'm just gonna like stand there and like try and take everything in. Conversation with Sword. Sword convinced me to kill. I have just killed somebody. That is the opposite of what I usually do. But it felt good, and I kind of feel a little bit smarter. And it's just gonna keep going on in my head
Yeah.
until I can snap out of it.
And as you're kind of like going through all this in your mind, as the sort of like cycle ends, you just sort of have noticed that you've walked out of this room now, and you're sort of back kind of in like the crossing of the hallways, and you see Roswell kind of coming towards you after all of this, and you kind of close the door behind you. And
So did you learn a lot about dead people?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. It's really hard to see that many in one place. It can be overwhelming.
Okay, I have to tell you something, but
The order doesn't have a lot. Wait a minute. We've got a very tiny library.
it's actually not about the library this time.
Okay.
We're never getting on this boat.
I don't want you to judge me, and what I've done is the correct thing to have done, and I'm just gonna take her inside the room.
Oh no! How did he die?
I did it.
Why?
'Cause I'm the hand of justice, and my sword told me to.
This is beyond problematic.
No, it's not, because he killed he killed the goddess Mashea. He killed her. And
How do you know?
Because the sword told me. And I believe it because
Akira, if I would be more satisfied if a book told you. If a book told you, I would be like, yeah, that sounds right. But a sword told you?
Yeah, it's it used to be his sword, but he gave it to me. That night,
Why
like
would
the
he
night
give up his sword?
he gave it to me. I don't know.
So his own sword betrayed him?
Yeah, but he was imbalanced, and he killed the goddess Mashea, like I said.
None of this makes sense.
But
None of it.
But it does. It makes it. I had a long conversation with the sword, and I asked it a lot of questions. You can believe me because I have lots of questions about everything.
That's the only part of the scenario I believe.
But it's a god. The sword is a god.
What god? Which god?
Actually, that's the only question I didn't ask. But I have a theory.
Sword!
I have a theory.
I look at the sword she's holding. Which god are you?
But I have a theory that it's the god Vilgus. Vilgus. That's my theory. But I actually didn't ask him because
why not? You ask so many things.
Because I kind of like pieced it together from Kendra's research in the library, and he told me that him and Mashea fought, and that was in the research that Kendra did.
They fought alongside each other.
No, don't.
Oh, no.
Easy, no.
He said that they fought, but they didn't make up because Margie, that I call him Margie, he killed Mashea.
Right.
So,
we could just call dead people whatever they want. We don't need to honor them at all because you took their life away.
His life was invalid.
Your life is invalid. What the fuck do you mean?
He wasn't worthy anymore.
Oh, if we're going to get into this judgmental who's worthy, who's not kind of thing, I don't understand why you would do this.
Because the sword, it glows whenever someone is not true. And I have to balance
I look at it very suspiciously right now.
Make an insight check.
Okay. I don't know why I'm all sweaty. No, I know why I'm all sweaty. All right. Insight.
Roll to sword vibe.
I got a 25.
The sword, it's as weird as this sounds. There's nothing that seems menacing about the sword. It just seems very elegant and purposeful.
It does this glow thing whenever someone's around that's not that's not worthy to the divine balance.
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, let's say we go back and meet with our friends and you stand next to, I don't know, let me spin a wheel, Tebrin, okay? And it glows near him and tells
Right
you
in
to
the
kill
heart.
him.
But-
What are you going to do?
But I know Tebrin, I kind of know Tebrin, and I know kind of what of the things he's done, and I know that he is a good person. I made this choice based on what the sword told me, and I I don't think that's an issue. Because I can choose. It's my choice.
It didn't sound. It
His
doesn't.
life, my choice.
It doesn't sound. Akira, you wouldn't have done this. Like before you had the sword.
But
Why-
that's
why-
because I didn't know. I didn't have the knowledge that the sword gave me.
What am I supposed to do with you now?
I don't know.
What does justice say that I do to you right now?
Sword, am I worthy?
You are the hand of justice.
I'm the hand of justice.
Oh, great, cool. And I'm the foot of righteousness. I don't know what am I supposed to do right now, Akira?
I don't know. That's
With
why I was
you.
telling you. I don't know. That's why I told you.
I am not keeping this secret from the rest of our group.
I didn't ask you to.
I'm glad, because here's the thing. I just feel like some night I'm going to be sleeping and I'm going to see a glowing sword over my face.
No, why would you think that? It's not
Because
glowing right
maybe
now.
Someday the sword might think that I am imbalanced.
Sword.
I don't.
Oh, it has this really good name. I should probably call it that instead of sword. No, I'm not going to tell you. It's too good. Anyway,
So you told about the murder, but the name of the sword?
The
That's too far.
That's too much. Oh, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
I don't remember what I was gonna ask you, Sword. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure. I
Okay,
just thought that you
here's-
should know.
Here's my other really big concern
Uh-huh.
right now. I mean, there's so many. There's so many.
Yeah.
We are about to board a boat with a bunch of people that are really bad. And Tebrin just gave them blood.
Oh, I know, but I know that, and I wouldn't jeopardize Tebrin's life.
But what
I
if
really
the sword
wouldn't.
told you to do it?
Well, I'll fight it.
Just like you fought it right now?
But it took me a long time to make this decision. Okay, a very
I
long
have been
time.
gone a half an hour.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
When you came in, was he kind of already really sick?
Well, yeah, he was laying down and he had this like really far off, distant look in his eyes. And
Does
something
he
wasn't
have like
right.
a big wound on him?
You're outside. Would you like? Did you bring her
No, we
back
were in
into
the
the
car.
room?
Yeah, we're in there.
Yeah.
There's no wounds on him at all. Just a dead body.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go now.
Okay, but like,
Gonna ditch the scene.
okay, just like I thought maybe he was like cursed or something, and I tried to remove the curse, but
Yeah, I don't
But, like,
care.
well,
No,
but
tell
I don't
me.
think he was cursed. Like, he
Are
wasn't
you
right.
cursed? Wait a minute.
No.
Are you cursed?
I don't think I'm cursed. I think I would know if I was cursed. I'm not
That's
cursed.
exactly what a cursed person would say.
Well, I don't know. You want to check me out or something?
I don't know how I feel about you right now. Can I roll for checking cards? I want to actually insight. Oh no, wait a minute. Because she's a player. Can I roll for a vibe about how I feel about Akira right now?
Roll to Vibe is back in full force, folks.
Yeah.
You
It's
can
okay.
You can vibe whatever you want.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
roll won't get you any
yeah.
extra or different information.
Right. That's fine. We're gonna go.
Okay, but I don't think he was right in the mind because he kept saying these phrases like, merit the gift.
Like a sword talk to me?
No,
Like those kind of phrases?
he never said anything other than weird phrases about Shay and the hands of the recipient and and stuff like that. Like he and worshiping the skies of the silvered something. He said it all the time. He never said real words, remember? And we just found him in the astral plane. I mean, this is Kendra's fault.
Kendra somehow feels insulted halfway across the city.
She brought him back here. This is all his fault. All her fault. I didn't want to bring him here.
I worry for the people you don't like.
Me too, but for other reasons than you think.
That's not ominous at all.
We're gonna go now. We're gonna go now. You have sullied my order. You've sullied my place of worship.
Oh, no,
the last place I called home that I'm never gonna see again.
Wait, why wouldn't you see it again?
Because we're all gonna die. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Get out.
I'm sorry.
Now.
I'm leaving. And I'll take one last look at Margie. I can't say his name. That's why I say it. Call him Margie.
Push her face out the door.
He looks peaceful and resting.
Is he really dead? What? Is he really dead?
Make a medicine check.
Sorry, just one sec. One sec, Roswell. I promise we'll leave. 1 second, okay?
It's like, I know I sullied your order and everything, but just give me half a second to look over this dead body.
I have to confirm my results here.
Nice.
He's not dead. I have to do some blood.
He seems very dead to your expert opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I did it. That was me. I'm sorry. Okay, we can go now.
Okay.
All right. So y'all head out after a nice little trip to the
Just very chill.
Brynheld Sanctuary place.
You're not gonna tell anybody in the sanctuary that there's a dead body.
Well, to be fair, there's dead bodies in all these rooms. If you
just wandered up to the people you haven't seen in 7 years and wander out with a dead body.
It happens.
All right.
I mean, out of all of the places where she could have done this, this is arguably the place where it's the least noticeable.
That's true.
For better or worse.
Anything else?
It's for worse.
Oh, I mean, I'd like to go talk to my girlfriend, but I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to, like, go after that shit, so...
Just kill her.
All right.
Here's your follow-up, folks.
Yeah. When last you saw it was that earlier this? I think it was very early this morning.
Yeah. I will go back to her room and knock on the door.
There is no answer.
Actually, before I do that, I'm actually going to check with the innkeeper first and see if there were any signs of life.
He says he hasn't seen her since she came in early this morning.
Okay. Then in that case, I will go and I will knock, and if I don't get an answer, I will knock again and say, Siora, we need to fucking talk.
No answer.
Communicate with words.
Still silence.
I am going to pick the lock on your goddamn door.
Still silence.
I'm going to pick the lock.
All right. Easy enough. Like, you can kind of just do it without looking at it. Like, these are not complicated locks at all. Well below your sort of passive thieves' tools ability. As you enter into the room, you see Siora just kind of like collapsed in the middle of this square room in the floor in in
Akira!
somewhat of a curled up pose. She looks like she's either asleep or unconscious, and she's kind of holding her hand, and it's been wrapped, but like the rag around it is just absolutely just soaked with blood, and there's just like this puddle of blood. And you can see that from her back, those sort of celestial wings that had formed are kind of translucent and ethereally kind of like curled up around, sort of like sheltering over the top of her. And as you look up from this, the walls around in the room are just covered with what looks like blood scrawled writing. Just some large, some small, in a very sort of like manic sense.
Okay, you know what? First things first. Jebber's gonna kind of skid to a stop on his knees beside her and check her over. Is she dead?
Make a medical check.
Okay. Medicine. This is not my thing. But I am not at disadvantage. Six.
She is breathing, which usually implies that there is some life in a creature.
Okay, I'm going to pump a healing word at 3rd level into
Alright.
her.
Easy enough. She does kind of like stir a little bit, and her head kind of turns, looking up to you. It looks like the blood that's on the ground looks like it's not fresh. It's kind of soaked into the floorboards a little bit. Like it looks like this has been sitting here for several hours at least.
What the fuck?
And she just sort of like looks at you. You can tell that like her eyes are red, like she's been sobbing, and you can tell that as she kind of like holds her hand up, and she slides off the handkerchief that was around there, and you can see there's no wound anywhere on her hand, and she just kind of drops it lightly and looks up at you, but kind of like looks through you for a moment, and then her eyes kind of come into focus a little bit, and you can see that her hand, like along her fingertips, where normally she has very sort of well manicured hands, they're all just sort of like the nails have just been rubbed absolutely raw, and it's like her fingers are just, looks like she's kind of been like clawing at the walls and such.
The cut on her hand, is it the same cut from the astral projection? Right, because they had her cut her hand for that, right? The encircle did?
Yes. I mean, it's similar. It's not exactly the same thing.
Oh, but so it isn't like that cut didn't heal or became worse and then healed?
You saw that cut heal completely almost
Okay.
immediately afterwards.
Okay. And she's focusing on me.
Yeah.
What happened?
I felt it, and then I saw it, and then she looks up. I don't remember, but I wrote it all that I could remember.
Looking around, and not like, because he's like kind of pulled her up so that her head is resting on his shoulder. Like looking around at the walls, can I make heads or tails of any of this shit?
Yes, it's all written in common, and some of it is sort of like written over on top of each other in this. Make an investigation roll. Just to see how sort of like quickly and coherently you decipher all of this.
Investigation. Oh, I'm surprisingly proficient in this. 22.
Nice. All right. Going through, you do go through, and you notice there are things repeated around, and you find the following phrases. Quietly the wind extinguishes.
Oh, good grief.
Crescendo to gust. Forgetful. With blessed arms I greet thee. Gone for a lifetime, what happens in an instant. Warship Troubled Silver Skies, Shay the Breeze. Hope Affluent, Hurled Defeated from the Skies. And the last one that's written kind of like up, curling sort of up over the threshold of the door is the merit of a gift can be weighed only in the hands of the recipient.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Oh, did you just copy and paste all of them? Thank God. I can stop thinking about that and think about role-playing instead. All right. Can you... Love, I need a little bit more detail than this. What did you... Were you scrying? Did you cast something to...
That... The man that Kendra brought back from the astral plane.
Yes.
He was wandering. I found him and I brought him back. I sat with him. But I got up to get another drink and he wandered off. But he stayed with me in my mind, and I felt what he felt. It's hard to explain, and it's not... It's not all of a story, it's the parts of it. It's intense emotion. It's heartbreak. His life was filled with such love and loyalty, and was rewarded for it.
The man that I saw did not have the look of a man rewarded.
Well, he was then punished. There's such rage, such jealousy, and with him, an unspeakable regret. It was that regret that eroded him to nothing. But there was hope behind it, a hope that he'd forgotten, that perhaps only I realized, the hope of a child hurled, defeated from the skies. It's all quiet now, though. Like the story has finally ended.
Except for the god baby.
I don't know. I don't understand. It was a child born of love and devotion.
You stand, and he's gonna stand up and try to help her.
She stands up and she just sort of like blankly like looks around and kind of walks over and kind of runs her hand over the wall, and like as she does, like the blood hasn't like fully dried on all the walls, so she just kind of like smears across through it as she just sort of walks over and sort of like looks at her fingers, substantially more like cerebral and detached than you normally see her, and you can see it sort of like glow a little bit and then like absorb into her fingertips as she just sort of lightly like massages over it. Such regret. The conduit of an anger that wasn't his.
Is I mean, we're already messing with powers arguably beyond our own means. Have we gotten wrapped up in what, the tales of gods and their lovers?
I do not know. It is perhaps not your story. It's a story of a time forgotten. It's been rewritten and retold by the victor, by the survivor.
And do you know the true one now?
Only that which I have written.
There's always space in the narrative for a new story, I've found. Remade myself a half dozen times. He kind of glances around at the words again and pulls out a bit of, like, Tubman doesn't spend a lot of time, like, writing down, and most of, like, the stories that he does tell when he does his infrequent barding mostly kind of live in his head. But he keeps scraps of paper on him usually, and he kind of pulls one out and kind of walks around once and writes down all of the phrases.
And she just kind of stands sort of in the doorway and just rests her hand on the threshold there, and just sort of, and quietly the wind extinguishes. This story is... it's over. It's almost like what I heard was an echo, that it reverberated through me. And I was to hear it one last time before it faded.
Well, then in your professional opinion, would it be worth it trying to... I mean, he's gone, isn't he? I look around the room as if I'm expecting to see him underneath the bed.
You do not see him under the bed. I don't know.
Well, I mean, what time is it now?
I mean, this is all sort of happening.
Yeah, all together. It's like late afternoon.
Yeah, all of these things will probably end late afternoon, early evening.
I am running a little bit short on time before I'm leaving for Aradore tomorrow morning.
Just sort of nods. I know. I didn't know exactly, but I know this would come.
I have a well, I suppose I was a different man when I was in Aradore, but I still... Even now, that particular defeat rests uneasily on me. And I would rather not leave Torin unanswered.
She just sort of nods. The world there is... it's an unsettling imbalance, what he's trying to do.
Just so. And I can't guarantee him coming back from this.
Nor can I.
You're coming with us?
No, I can't guarantee that you'll come back safely.
All right.
I'm not going myself.
Well, then. And he kind of folds his hands behind his back and kind of rocks backward and forward once, a little bit uncomfortably.
She just sort of looks past you a little bit, and then for the first time kind of reaches back and like ties her hair back and just gives you this little like half smile, and she says, gone for a lifetime, what happened in an instant. She just sort of turns and starts walking down the hall.
He like watches her for like a good like 30 seconds before he kind of like shakes his head a little bit and then jogs after her and like grabs her and kind of gently threads a hand through her hair and kisses her very gently, relatively chastely. Well, best of luck then. And if our paths cross again, then I suppose that's fate, as Roswell would say.
Let's not make this goodbye. Find
He
you when you're
kisses-
done.
He kisses her one more time and then steps back.
I've become masterful at interior decorating.
So I see. I think that blood runes are really going to come back into style.
I hear there's a market for them in Chora. She kind of like takes like one sort of step back, kind of holding your hands in hers, just sort of goes and sort of just like lightly lets them fall and kind of lingers her hand there for a second, and then she turns and sort of walks out the door, and you look up and the bartender is there, like just sort of puts the glass down, like slowly turns like he wasn't like watching the whole time.
Tevin kind of is standing there like frozen for a second, like one hand kind of still like stretched out towards her, and then like kind of and runs it through his hair. And we'll go and try to turn up the rest of the party.
All right.
Blissfully unaware of any celestial murder.
So I want to start praying a fireball and head towards the library.
Ooh, you are next on my list.
All right, so we are at
This
the
is not
wonderful
where I was
halfway
expecting
point.
the PvP for this Aradore arc to go.
So why don't we take 5 minutes and recollect our thoughts, our notes, and I think, did we get everything?
Close enough.
Oh, I don't want to skip to the morning if that's what you're asking.
Wait, there's more?
What more would you like to do?
Commune, divination, and yeah, that's it. No, talk to my sword some more.
All right.
No.
Well, you will have time to talk to your sword more on the ship. You have a week of sailing to do too.
It's well, I want to commune first.
All right, let us do these things. Let's commune.
Okay, we can commune. Okay. This is by myself though. Roswell.
We are in an alleyway. We have not dealt with the consequences of your actions.
Okay.
Do you just want me to shove you in an alleyway while I stand outside and tap my foot?
I just
You can like return to the rooms and stuff, or go somewhere.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, you can you know what you do commune all the time. It's
Yeah.
just this is helpful. Okay, I'm just gonna commune right here because why not?
Where is right here?
I don't know, wherever we're standing.
Not in my order. We're out of here.
So you found your way into a sort of city plaza park. It's about 3 or 4 kind of blocks all together. Sparse trees, benches there, some other people, but this late in the evening, or late in the afternoon, there's not too many folks around, and you kind of find a quiet spot to sit on a bench. Roswell kind of staying 5 or 6 paces away, just sort of walking sort of back and forth, eyeing you a little bit warily as you sit on the bench. And what do you do?
I'm trying to find the spell so I can link it to you, but it's
What spell are you casting? Commune?
Commune. There it is. I have found it.
I have it.
Okay. So, my first question, as I light some incense and hold my holy symbol, can I trust this sword?
Yes.
Well, you can't really answer that question for me because that's too many words. But, will we be safe on the boat?
Unclear.
Will we make it to Aradore?
Unclear.
Okay.
Divine beings aren't necessarily omniscient. You might receive an unclear as an answer if a question pertains to information that lies beyond the deity's knowledge.
Or for that matter, the DM's knowledge. I think our ability to make it off this ship in one piece relies entirely on us, which is a bad thing.
That's weird. You're implying that we're getting on a ship. I don't think we're gonna make it.
That's why the deity doesn't know, because the deity has no idea whether you're going to make it onto a ship.
Well, you've told me the most important thing, which is if I can trust this sword, and the answer was yes, so...
Well, trust it to what? Can you trust Torin? Yes. To do what? To kill you?
No!
All right.
That was my commune.
What else? You communed?
Well... I don't want to talk to my sword with Roswell here, because she doesn't like... Okay, no, actually I will. So, sword...
So, you do sort of realize that you don't have to, like, literally speak out loud to it.
But this is like an inner monologue in my head.
Which Roswell will totally hear. No,
I might
keep
talk
going.
out loud sometimes. But anyway, sword, how do I tell my friends that you are trustworthy? How can I explain to them that I am the hand of justice and what we are doing is correct? How can I tell them that trust is, I don't know. Just what do I do?
Not all will understand the purity of your mission. You must show them the dangers of imbalances in this world. Teach them that they are, in fact, mutual enemies.
Will you help me do this? I'm like not the best at telling people things and explaining things and sometimes asking questions. But I have a lot of them.
Show them through your actions. The purity of your deeds will speak more than your words.
I'm afraid that they're just going to think my actions are incorrect. Like they're going to try and take you away from me, and they won't trust in us.
Our bond cannot be severed. Mortals cannot understand the work that must need to be done, unless given the guidance of divine hand. They will understand in time. Our union shall provide a boon towards all of their mission. You are no threat to them, as they do not unbalance the world. You can guide them, show them the dangers that lurk beyond their view.
But you have to understand that I don't want to hurt any of them. Like, Roswell is like worried that one day my sword, you're gonna make me turn against her. How can I show her that that's not gonna happen?
Mortals always conjecture and worry that their place in the universe is one that will lead to disruption, and one that will undoubtedly swing balance of all things in a way that they desire. But only a handful ever fulfill that promise. The rest, though that is their aspiration, do not. Your friends might attempt great deeds. These do not sway the natural order of things. Seek out those for whom the sword glows. They are the scourge. They are whom to focus on your wrath.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions, just so you know.
I promised you the knowledge to do that which needs to be done, and so I shall grant it. Your mind will grow clearer with each strike of the blade.
Okay, we'll take this one day at a time. Talk to you later. Bye.
So you see Akira just sitting on the bench, sort of like holding the sword in her lap, and just sort of like just kind of like gesturing, but like not really talking.
Like watching The Sims on mute.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else, Akira?
No. I'll leave it at that.
All right. So let's take our 5-minute break. Go food, drink, bathroom, whatever, and maybe, just maybe, we'll go to a boat.
On a boat.
We still there's still a whole night left. We don't know. Let's
Dude,
RP every moment of it.
we could get into a lot of shit.
All right. Well, see y'all in 5.
Oh my god.
This is the great.
Hi, welcome back. We're waiting for one more foodings. But this is a great time to remind you to push the follow button or just follow us. On Twitter.
person.
Like physically find us.
Yeah.
Like not in person, thank you.
Yeah. At Roll It
I'm open
Slant
to that, it's
on Twitter. You can check out the website, rollitslant.com.
Yes.
Where if
That's the domain we
you
got.
are interested in catching up the story, the link to YouTube is there, which has most, if not most.
It's missing the most recent 2 episodes, which I think have uploaded, but I have not yet made them public.
Okay, so Dora will do this.
I will.
And it goes back. We're on episode almost 30 now, so quite a ways back. And we are sort of circling back to the first sort of campaign segment of this that was like levels, what was that, like 1 through 8 or something? Or 1 through 6 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think we finished at 7 because I rolled Tebrin in at 6.
Okay. So going back in to sort of clean up the mess that the original story arc was, and that's where they're headed on the ship now.
But the back way.
Yes.
At the back way.
door.
That
To a
kind of-
portion, actually, to a portion of Aradore, I don't think we've been.
Correct. It's almost like I'm going to put you in a new spot so everything isn't exactly the same as it was before. Welcome back.
Here.
Cool. So we all ready to do this thing? Excellent.
Yep.
So, we find ourselves reconvened back in the inn in which you are all staying. Roswell seems to have something on her mind, as usual, and has convened the group together in hopes to discuss this something.
And I am sitting with my back, with my sword on my back in the sheath, and I'm sitting against the wall, so no one can take it from me.
Just to be clear, too, like, Akira hasn't really been carrying a weapon.
I've had a mace like hanging back on my pack, but you've never seen it out. Ever.
Okay, but that's not the same as, like, I now have a sword strapped to my back like Geralt of Rivia.
It's
It's
important to note, didn't you lend that mace out to the person you eventually...
Murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like, well, yeah,
We
he
don't
could
have
have
that mace
defended
anymore.
himself. I gave him a weapon. It was a
that
duel.
mace is like gone forever. Yeah. Who needs it when I've got this great sword?
This great sword that I love so much. It's so trustworthy. Look at this trustworthy sword.
It is so trustworthy.
So, how was everyone's day? Did everyone have a good time running errands and shopping? You know, I said goodbye to my childhood home forever. So also, Akira, I think, no, I don't think I know, started talking to a sword that she says talks to her. And
That's funny.
and I know. And she also killed Margrenal with the sword because the sword told her to.
She what?
Oh boy.
I'm just sitting there with my head down right now.
I suppose that clarifies some things that Siora was talking about.
So
What?
the person
It's fine.
the person I saved from the astral plane, you took his sword and then you killed him.
I'm just twiddling my thumbs.
Akira. Akira,
Mm-hmm.
you killed him. You murdered him.
Shh.
Wait, where?
Roswell, we're in our room.
Why were you guys fighting?
Oh, we're in our room? Okay. I've got
Akira,
room service and tankards then.
Why would you murder someone?
Well, see my sword, it like light glow and
A lot of things glow.
yes, but this one's magic and it tells
I'm
me
magic.
who's unworthy.
I mean, that is a good plan. That is a good point. So, Kindra is magic. She does glow, and sometimes she turns into a plant.
It's true.
Yeah, but-
I bet your sword doesn't turn into a fucking plant, Akira.
I'd hope not. It would
So-
not be useful as a plant.
So
As are you not useful as a plant?
what do you mean? I photosynthesize. Look, Akira, we try and get you to do things all the time, and it's like pulling teeth. But for an hour and a half away with a sword, and suddenly you're ready to murder people.
No, you see, I was just being the hand of justice.
Okay,
And,
okay.
okay,
What does that?
Here's
What does that
here's
mean?
the thing. Usually, when somebody says something like "I am the hand of justice," what they're really being is the hand of something else entirely.
No, it's divine, so it's all like good justice.
That doesn't make me feel better.
There are evil divine things.
Have you ever met a drow?
Divine isn't
You're a
good in and
drow.
of itself.
I've met you
Exactly. There you go.
and your sister.
Checkmate.
That's
Exactly.
two.
Akira, just because it's divine doesn't mean it's good.
Yes, but then like I had a conversation with my goddess, and she told me that I could trust it. So
Trust it to what?
I can trust it. I can put
To
my
what-
trust in it.
But
What it
to,
tells
to
me
what
is
to
true.
what end?
I don't know.
So
Is it
that's
gonna-
sort of useless information, isn't it?
Well, I can talk to it some more. I don't know how long you want to stay here, though.
Not
Because-
long enough.
Wait, so not that I believe this, but so
What?
your conversations with the sword, did everyone hear it? Roswell, did you hear this conversation?
No, it's
No.
just me.
No.
Can you make it speak now?
No, swords don't talk.
Okay, let's back
Okay.
up for just a hot second.
So what leads you to believe it was the sword
we've
at
already
all?
got it. Your stories aren't matching up.
Well, no, I mean it can't talk to you. Like, you're not the hand of justice, so.
I'm
Right,
sure
right,
as fuck am not.
How are you sure it's the sword at all and not one of these magic influences that like were all over that school you guys went sleep and then were lost into whatever and brought people back and then killed them and whatever.
That's
Because-
exactly our story.
Well, that's because before the sword belonged to Marginal, and then he gave it to me as a gift, and so that I
Did he
became.
now?
Yes,
Akira,
it did.
you understand how this sounds, right? He gifted you a sword that then told you to kill him.
No, he didn't tell me to kill him.
No, the sword which he gifted to you.
The sword didn't tell me kill him. The sword just.
So the
I'm
sword.
gonna walk up to Akira,
the
try to
sword
take her
didn't
temperature,
even-
and then realize I have no idea how to take the temperature of a giant lizard.
Is this
What are
like
you
a
doing?
curse? Can
So
you
if-
put the sword down?
Are you feverish?
If the sword
no.
if the sword didn't tell you to kill him, why did you kill him?
No, it glows whenever there's someone around that isn't worthy and is not balanced.
So
What
then you
does
killed
that
them.
mean?
Balanced from what? Balanced in what way? Not worthy for what?
I mean, I
Towards
can't write a
the
unicycle.
divine.
Lots of things glow.
I sometimes glow when I've had a particularly great day.
If we
don't
hold the
think it's the
sword, will
same
it talk
thing.
to us?
I don't know, but I don't want to give it to you to see if it
It
was.
seems like you've been
It
cursed to
does-
me.
Seems like
I
a
don't think
curse.
that I'm cursed. And
Okay, then hand me the sword. I'll
But-
give you my sword.
but I
Mine
want
is
this.
sword,
But
I don't want
no,
you
no,
to
no!
take-
Don't give her the sword because the moonblade. It's got weird stuff. If it, you
That's
think
only if
you.
you try to attune to it.
Oh, okay. But why would you want to give up your sword?
We're just temporarily traded, so just it's
Oh.
collateral. It's a hostage exchange. Sword for a sword. Then I'll
in my
give you
head-
that sword back. You can give me back my sword, which is actually very important to me, so you don't get to keep it.
In my head, I'm going to ask the sword if this is something that I should do.
There's no response. from
Looking
the
at
sword.
us like a gecko.
I have an idea. I have an idea how. I have an idea as to how we might be able to verify the. Actually, maybe this won't work. But if you could read her thoughts, maybe you could read the thoughts that the sword are putting in her thoughts.
Do I know that if someone tries to do that to me, that they're going to get hurt? No, don't do that. You'll get hurt.
Okay.
Wait a minute,
Um,
why?
What?
Why would we get hurt?
I'm protected from the sword, so no one can read my thoughts.
Okay.
Isn't that just fucking
sounds
ironic?
convenient, right?
Well,
Hey, hey, does one of you still have that mind thing with the amulet?
yeah, that's not going to work either. Same concept. Because actually, it's funny. Before I got the gift, I tried to do the same thing to Margaret, and it hurt me. But now, if someone tries to do that to me, it hurts them. Isn't
What-
that funny?
What words?
No,
did-
that's not
No,
the word
no,
I
not-
would use.
Not really.
What words did the sword use to convince you to kill that poor mentally deranged thing?
Entirely defenseless.
Oh, by the way, I fought it like it was just like this person is not worthy, you know.
Darling.
And
Darling, when you're coming to tell us that you murdered a man, but you tried first really hard not to.
I thought maybe he was cursed because like his eyes were all like weird and he wasn't communicating, and he just spits out those weird phrases like to merit the hold on, what is it that he said? He said
what words did the sword use to convince you?
Something in the hands of the recipient. That's what he said. And then when there's I don't remember exact wait, what did you ask me?
What words the sword used to convince you to commit the hand of justice kill?
Well, I asked him a bunch of questions, like a lot of questions, and he said that
What was the tipping point? What did he say?
He killed the goddess shit, why can't I remember her name?
Mashaya.
The sword killed a goddess?
No, Margie. He killed the goddess Mashaya.
He's strong enough to kill gods?
Apparently.
Do you think that perhaps the sword was the thing that killed the god?
See, I thought
the sword considered her impure.
I asked a question like kind of like that, not exactly like that, but I was like, well, how can I trust you? How do I know that what you're telling me is the truth? And he said that him and Mashaya they fought beside each other, and then Margaret killed her.
Is that thing not a sword sometimes?
He says he's a god, and I think it's that god that you looked up at the library, Kendra. You know, what was his name? It started with a V.
Viligus.
Viligus?
Is that a name that means anything to me?
Make a history check.
Oh boy. So good at this. So good at everything that involves the intelligence stat. History?
History. This is most definitely history.
6.
Viligus is a name that you just heard Akira say of a god.
Delicious, thank you. I really appreciate that.
You remember the research you told me about? You know, like how you found Mashaya and that other god, you know, Viligus and stuff. I think it's him. I haven't personally asked him. I can ask him. Let me just ask him. Sword, are you the god?
I like to imagine that as she does this, she pulls it off her back and just goes, sword.
That's pretty accurate.
I just
you said that you were a god. Are you Viligus?
No response.
Oh, he doesn't want to talk right now.
Oh, convenient.
It's probably because you're all asking me questions and you're not the hand of justice. I am.
Kendra, you do in your reading, Viligus was identified as a god of justice.
Viligus is a god of justice.
Yeah, you told me that
Okay.
earlier.
I mean, this does. What the fuck's a god doing in a sword?
As to whose justice or to what end, we don't know. But
Is
he
it-
likes justice.
The justice of the divine.
Right, but
That's just words.
yes, it doesn't mean anything in and of itself.
Well, it can mean something, but this is insane. Divine things mean things, but this is just so sudden. And I really worry that Athena's gonna be pissed off.
No, she said
That
that I
you're
could trust it.
Is she gonna dump you, though? Do you have to
But-
worship Viligus now?
Why?
Because you're following his orders and you're his hand of justice.
But I had a choice.
Yeah, you can choose to follow any god you want.
Yeah.
And you are now following this one. You
But
might
they're-
have consequences with Athena.
But she said I could trust it.
Sure. And maybe she's letting you go.
I don't think so. I don't know about that.
I'm just saying, be careful.
can you only follow one god? Is that how it works? I follow none, so
I mean,
it's
they're
a lot easier
sort
for
of
me.
they're sort of aligned though. Like, she's the goddess of law and stuff, and he's the god of justice and law
Sure.
and justice. You know, that's kind of hand in hand.
Here's the thing. In my experience with gods, mostly people just use them as an excuse for doing whatever the fuck they want.
Hey.
Yeah, that's
There
kind of
are
offensive.
exceptions. I'm just saying. There's a reason that the Drow are the way they are.
But
And I don't know how much interest Loth actually takes in any of us. But a
don't they
lot
worship
of
a
it is
demon?
just people saying that's what she wants.
But isn't it a demon spider? I can believe a demon spider would do bad things.
I don't really know exactly what she is.
I don't want to find out.
I don't really believe in her either.
I got a question for your sword.
Well, he doesn't really want to talk right now, but I'll take your questions.
I'll take your questions off the air.
Fantastic, I guess. If you ever get a chance, ask him.
Okay.
If he's a god, why did it take this long to go ahead and do that? Whatever, justice kill.
Well, that's a good question. I'll ask him. I did plan, to ask him more about that, though, because I haven't really, asked him right out, what god he is, even though he told me that he's a god. I had a lot of other things on my mind, like things. And
yeah?
Right, of course. What about why? How did? So, like, with that sword, can you now kill other gods? Is that what you're saying? This is a god
Oh.
slayer sword?
No.
That's a lot.
I'm just saying.
That's
it
a lot for
sounds
me,
like
and I don't even believe in the gods.
How do you know you can't?
I don't want to.
Well, I didn't say
But
that.
that's
What I'm
not-
saying is, you now have a power of a god at your beck and call. Is that what I'm listening to?
Well, I'm a cleric that gets my power from a goddess anyway, so...
Yeah, but now you've been like upgraded, right?
No.
Getting a power from the goddess and having a sword directly powered by a god.
It just
Look,
wait.
guides me. It's just
Right,
a guide.
but-
Do
No, yeah,
you
but
control the sword or the other way around?
That's a great question, Wellesley.
That is a great question.
But
Cutting right to the...
I control it. It just tells me where to go.
Okay, so if the sword right now said, "Okay, you need to kill Roswell," would you kill Roswell?
No, I even told him, I was like, my friends are
So
very special to me and I don't want to hurt them.
You said you
okay,
fought
hold
it
on,
at first.
Hold on.
And then you
Yeah.
stopped,
Hold
is
on.
the implication,
Now,
because the guy is dead. He's very much dead.
Hold on.
Like Kindred.
So, what if it was shit? What's that girl's name that we held hostage?
Affy.
Affy. What if it was Affy?
Well, if Affy is not balanced to the divine justice, then
Okay, what does not balanced mean?
there is a balance in life.
Okay, and what does that mean?
It means that I have to balance it.
Okay, balance
Why?
it how? By
So you-
killing it? So hold on. Oh, wait. Look, okay. So basically, you're killing people.
No,
You don't know what. Yes, you just killed a man. Yes, he's dead now. He was alive, and then. How do you know he was bad? I thought he was not balanced.
he had power that was given that was not given to him. Maybe it was given to him. It wasn't his to wield, and yeah. So bad.
Judged by somebody else. You don't know what the power was. You don't know how he got it. You don't know
It
what
was
he
the power
does. You don't
of
know.
a goddess.
Okay, you have the power of a god right now, given to you by a magical sword.
But he
Um,
manipulated her.
Okay,
Oh,
so
he
here's the
manipulated her. Manipulation, huh? You
Yeah,
think
that's
that maybe this could be manipulation?
I don't know, but I trust it.
so
Yeah.
That's how
here's
manipulation works, dear.
here's the
Yes,
thing.
Roswell.
We're gonna keep talking in circles,
Yes, we are.
and I just wanted everybody to know this, and maybe Akira, you need to be watched a little closely.
Let's put it this way, Akira. The next time you feel the urge to murder,
That's not how it is.
Which, admittedly, I am sympathetic towards. Sometimes, under the right circumstances,
What?
you come and find me or Roswell. Okay.
I
What
mean, I
about
agree with that. I
me
told
and
Roswell
Wolsey?
right after it happened what
Okay,
happened.
but next time,
before?
before.
But
Oh, I don't want to dwell on this either. This might be a good thing, but if we have to always worry that you're going to murder somebody that, we don't necessarily see as bad, just because the sword tells you to, that's worrying, right?
I don't think I'm explaining this right. Like, it's not telling me to. It's just saying this person is not balanced.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We're talking
You
in
need to-
circles.
Go on.
No, I'm just saying we're going nowhere. And this is a bigger problem.
You should leave that here.
What? No. Why?
Because clearly it's an issue.
I can't just leave it here. I mean, one, I wouldn't trust anybody with it.
Really? There's a school of this
Yeah,
is what we do.
definitely not them. Definitely not them.
There are
They're like-
allies.
No, they're the least trustworthy when it comes to artifacts and stuff like that. Like, right? We have one of them that they're supposed to keep safe. I'm
I
not
like the
giving
word
them this
least means something different.
We just make up what words mean now.
I have ranked everybody on how trustworthy they are with the sword, and I'm putting the School of Divination way beneath fucking Alfred the Thief.
Akira, if an implement of whatever was influencing the mind of one of us, wouldn't you go to great lengths to fix that?
Yeah, but I
Solid
do.
point.
I do my research on it, and
Okay.
oh, that no, I already
You
tried
don't-
that.
Maybe before you do anything else, you should work out what balance means.
Oh, you can write an essay. You could write a book.
We're gonna give you homework.
Yeah.
If
You
you're going,
love books.
if you're
I
going to wield
do.
this sword, you need to prove to us and to everybody else that you're wielding it for the right reasons
But
and
what?
that it's
Okay,
doing the right thing.
how do I
right?
prove that to
That's-
you? To
you-
your
you work out-
satisfaction.
You work out what balance means, and you have a more
All right,
convincing argument than I kill because this sword says this guy isn't quite balanced.
but
Because you're not seeming too balanced right now either.
all right, I'll ask Sword what balance is.
Don't
next.
Don't ask the sword what balance means. The sword is. You're getting all of your information from a sword that's trying to get you to kill people.
So are you telling me to go to the library?
No,
I'm
okay.
just-
Can we put a pin in this conversation? Because
It will
It's-
go. We have to get up early in the morning.
Yeah.
Yes, let's
And it's
fucking.
late.
Let's.
We're just gonna
Let's
leave it
get
at
out
if
there.
if you want to murder, just think about it this way: just stop, find
Collaborate and
me or
listen.
Roswell. Yeah,
There's
collaborate with me and Roswell and listen to us when we say not to kill the person.
there's likely only one brig in that boat. If you act up, you might find yourself swimming quicker than you might. Depends. I'm just saying.
Look, I want you to know that Tebrin, I take the fact that you gave your blood to these weird blood magic people seriously, and I will not do anything to jeopardize your life.
Okay, I appreciate
but-
it.
Including if the sword told you to murder somebody on board.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, is that what you want to hear?
It
That's
does
what I
make
wanna
me feel
see.
better.
Okay, good.
I believe in second chances more than anybody, but let's not get too many
preach.
second chances.
There shouldn't be a reason to have the sword on board. Maybe somebody else could hold the sword for you, just to make sure you're not being compelled.
Well, see, you can see the glow too. It's not,
Yeah,
It's
that's
visible
clearly
to-
magic, yes.
so if you just, see it glowing or something, if you want to come over and help me out,
I-
feel free.
I think
This
I think we
this conversation officially passed my tolerance limit. I'm going to go to bed.
Wait, just one last thing, Akira. Me and Wolsey would feel a lot more comfortable. Oh, I don't know if this is quite what he meant, but just let somebody else, Tebrin, maybe hold it for 3 seconds
Why?
to see if you can let go of it.
Okay, 3 seconds. I will give it to Severin for 3 seconds, and I will count down 3 goddess, 2 goddess, 1 goddess, and I will take it back.
Okay, that's fine.
Do I feel anything from the sword in the 3 seconds it is in my
You have a
possession?
murderous intent. It's unbelievable.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, fuck.
Oh boy.
I'm so
Oh.
good at these, guys. Oh, God. I am so good at these.
You have to click
Yep,
the right
5.
page.
So in the seconds that you hold it, you're kind of like, it feels like a sword to you. A bit odd. It's not glowing. There's no sort of evil darkness, because you kind of like held swords with shadow energy and other swords that have a little bit more sentience behind them.
Yeah,
and,
I carry one every day.
and list sort of, but you do in those 3 seconds think back through all of the things Akira was saying, and it's almost like puzzle pieces that were just sort of scattered. All of what she was saying sort of lines up and organizes itself into a way that makes more sense to you. And you actually sort of, it's like connecting the dots, and you come to the realization that something that detects and potentially is a weapon against things that are beyond the natural order is probably exactly what you need where you're going.
I mean, I'll give the sword back.
And it's not like a
Okay.
mind controlling thing. It's just like you slightly organize how you viewed all of that in the crazy sort of scatteredness of it. It just all like forms a nice sort of like linear path from what she's saying all the way to this conclusion.
I'm just looking at Kendra now to see.
You are so smug.
What are you looking at me about?
I let Tevrin hold it. I
Okay.
can let other people hold it, 3 seconds at a time.
Good.
That's fine.
We don't want to take the sword from you. We just don't want you to
Okay.
murder people. Okay, that's
yeah.
it. We're making sure you're not cursed.
I actually don't want to murder people either.
Well, you already did, so.
But you did. Never
Yes.
mind. I'm
that's a
going
personal struggle of mine. Okay. I just.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna go to bed.
The conversation wraps up as the sword is handed back to Akira. Some of you, though still skeptical, seem a little bit less weary that the sword is going to just consume someone if they touch it or that. And you all head to bed at a bit of a later hour than you had hoped. Dawn comes earlier than you would like, and you all rouse and make your way down towards the ship itself. As you arrive, you can just see the sun sort of rising out, casting this very sort of warm light out over everything in sort of long shadows of the ship. The sails are all sort of now nicely dressed but rolled up. The gangway is still down, but you can tell all of like the kind of securing lines and other rigging, except for one, have been cast off. Looking over the ship itself, the first thing that strikes you is the long sort of extended point out to the front has been changed and replaced, and on the front of it now is sort of a headpiece that's a figurehead sort of just below that. That is a dragon with 2 wings kind of like folded back in, and then a dragon's head up underneath the spike, and then its tail kind of comes back and curls around the long sort of spit out the front. Also loaded onto the front in the 2 sort of forward corners are 2 excuse me, 2 coughing DMs, 2 large ballistae there, and seems like everything on deck is secured. There are several people that you've seen working on there, making last minute preparations. There's some crates on deck that have sort of cargo net over them lashed down, and sort of slowly kind of walking back and forth up on the sort of the bridge deck there is Ophix. Natosh is sort of standing there with his arm just like leaning on the pedestal that has the large sort of steering wheel for the ship. And Ophix, kind of seeing you coming on, walks over to the edge of the ladder. And the deck where the steering wheel is like up one deck, so you'd have to kind of like go up a flight of stairs there. Kind of puts her hands down on the railing. Well, I didn't know you would keep us waiting. Dawn was perhaps 30 minutes ago. We're behind schedule.
Our apologies.
Make ready to leave, and we'll cast off as soon as we are able. Your other friend is already on board. He's made himself comfortable below. Well, your crew now. Chop chop.
Point us in the right direction.
Oh, wait, before you guys get on, I'm gonna take out the leather straps out of my bag, and whoever is in front of me first, I don't know, pick a person. I'm going to reach out to your arm and try and put the strap on you. Will you let me do it?
Yes.
Okay, these, and I'm gonna give one to everybody before you get on the ship. Keep these on. They're so I can use a spell if I need to. It's freedom of movement. It's a good spell, freedom of movement. You know, just in case something happens. Just okay. I'm just gonna tie
It's
it
like a
over.
friendship bracelet.
Yeah.
But it doesn't match the rest of my outfit.
Oh, Kendra, get over it.
Okay, I think I'm supposed to be doing something with sails. But thank you.
Well, you know, just in case.
All right.
Okay.
Who's the deck?
Yeah, there's the
lead?
you can immediately sort of tell that there is one of these guys is sort of the bosun who's in charge of the deck, and several of them go to sort of heaving up and pulling up the anchor itself, sort of a large kind of chain, and you're kind of instructed to join in with that. One of the longshoremen goes, sort of casts off the one remaining bow line, and the ship, with only under sort of the power of one sail, kind of starts to turn and drift out off away from the dock and turn to go downriver. And there is sort of a current sort of heading out to sea, so very slowly, Natosh, being the one at the wheel, sort of steers and maneuvers, and it's quite beautiful to kind of look back. And I mean, Wallesley, you've done this sort of so many times that it's not quite a new perspective for you, but you do see coming out of sort of the deltas that come into form where Vesular is. On the sort of oceanmost side of that is just this very huge sheer cliff face that over time has been sort of eroded in, and so it almost curves up and over to the ocean. You can see that there are, it's not where like Vesular proper is, the city, but there are sort of extravagant homes and other structures up there.
The cliffs of insanity.
Yes,
All right.
pretty much. They're very tall. And also out past that, there's a smattering sort of like archipelago of various islands in some pretty small, others much larger, like large enough to have like towns and stuff on them themselves, which are the Ambrose Islands themselves. You know this. For those of you who paid attention in your history classes, I see we're all askew now. As we dropped a video, I apologize. We will see if it comes back, but my video is right on point because I don't take it from that feed anymore. So I will keep talking. The Ambrose Isles that you sail by are actually named after General Ambrose, who was one of the premier generals of the Dracoran army in the days of the war against the Rir Rakul to claim Empire there, and it takes probably about a few hours to navigate sort of in and around some of these islands and to get out onto the open ocean. The water here is calm. There are other ships already out fishing in this sort of larger kind of harbor cove-like area. And this is what you know, Wallesley, as the shelter in the lee of all of these islands is kind of, that's where most, probably 95% of the ships stay and just travel in and out of there. And that supports sort of the fishing industry and all of that. And once you sail out past those, you get into the realm of ships that are, you know, seaworthy, going out for long periods of time. And so after about 5 hours or so, all of the isles are now in the distance off back behind you. The wind has picked up, the sails are now fully unfurled, and you're sort of getting a crash course in how to kind of orient the ship and going, and the motion of the ship kind of surges up and down kind of along its axis. It's not choppy. This is sort of normal sea state for what you're doing. But there is a good wind behind you. As sort of in the morning, the winds come. There's an offshore breeze, and out to sea you go. After about half a day of sailing, land has pretty much disappeared on the horizon, and all you see out stretched on any side of you is water. Temperature has dropped a bit. It's crisp and cool out, salt in the air, sound of waves just sort of just
Nice.
slapping
my
against
God.
the hull.
I forgot to get a world map.
We'll get to swimming.
Fine. I'm pretty sure the navigator, is that a thing, Wellesley? The navigator
Yes.
has something on the boat.
Yeah,
Yes,
but you
it's,
know,
it's
like,
not going to be for Akira.
I just wanted one, you know, to have.
We all want a lot of things.
That's true. And I'm just. Shoot.
You're not feeling murdery today, are you?
I look at my sword. It's not glowing.
Okay, that doesn't make me feel better.
And that's not how I feel. I don't feel like murdering people.
Don't
That
think
kind
I
of
haven't
really-
noticed that Kendra's missing.
We might just want to fix the video because I think Beth's internet like dropped.
You all can continue, and I will fix
That
it.
has nothing to do with me. Kendra is her own person. And
She sure as fuck is.
She better be.
she
We
is.
have learned to our detriment that there is no controlling Kendra Havel.
So on the ship, how is the rest of the crew treating us so far? Like, is it like
Casual disinterest.
okay?
Tabard is gonna do a little
Ah,
bit like.
thank
Well,
God.
we've already been. We haven't gotten to like a night
I'd ask him
portion
that.
yet, have we?
No, not yet.
Okay, never mind then.
We've only done half a day.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, I
once-
will breeze through things faster.
Yeah.
Notable
The
NP.
evening...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead with whatever you're gonna say.
Notable NPCs that are currently on board now that we're away.
So you have seen Cainsley is on board.
Okay.
That is as expected. The crew that you've seen, there is the one gentleman that you were like sort of casually acquainted with is on board as well, that you'd sailed with before. I don't remember exactly what we had said, but
We'd
he
said
is-
we were port. We're familiar with each other in port, but had not sailed together.
Okay. Slowly restoring video. I guess the last one is not there we go. We did it. We did it, everybody. Sorry, slightly distracted. Yes, he is on board. Ofix, who you've seen, is on board. Natash is on board. And you have seen the third member, the one that you talked to as well, Idali.
Something with an E.
Idali, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to or specifically tell Tebrin, but I don't care if other people are there. Do you think we should ask her why she dropped the staff off to us from your sister?
Presumably because my sister told her to.
Well, yes, that is the most logical answer. Yes, but
We can try to ask, but this strikes me as a group that, they do the things they're told to, and they don't tell other people things that they're not, client privilege.
why is she doing this?
Who?
Your sister.
Akira. Oh.
I'm trying not to think about it.
What have I done today?
Well, technically it is a
I
new
haven't
day.
murdered anything today.
I haven't murdered any other creatures today.
Change the sign one day without rampant murder.
Party has gone one day without killing innocent people.
I suppose it's a conversation we can have, but I'm not sure it's one that's going to be particularly fruitful.
No, I just want it's on my mind quite a bit. And I don't know how you're not obsessed with it.
I'm very good at compartmentalizing.
Have you talked to your sister recently? Last time,
Nope.
I heard anything about her. She wanted us to come to somewhere, and we didn't do it.
I would like to stop talking about my sister now.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And Tevin turns on his heel and goes and tries to look busy.
All right. Night sort of wanes into day, and you kind of
one thing that I would like to do,
or
just
day
as,
wanes
not
into night, rather.
yeah,
As
not
it
as like
works,
a
as
role
you
playing
were.
thing necessarily, but Tabard is going to, when we get to like dinner and like the later parts of the night, he's just gonna do his kind of like the thing he does anytime we get stuck with a bunch of people that we don't necessarily know, which is that he's just gonna kind of make friendly with them. He's gonna pass around his flask a bit. He's gonna tell some stories and kind of bard it up a little bit, but just in general, kind of try to like shift the perception of the group from like, who the fuck are these weirdos, to okay, like I guess they're kind of chill.
All right. Give me we'll call this a persuasion roll, I guess.
$17.
Right.
Makes.
So going through, largely, at least initially, they seem very kind of focused on what they're doing. But as things calm down, you do notice that there's sort of a shift towards like a on watch, off watch rotation, and there are people who sort of go off duty. There are hammocks below decks. The way the ship is set up is there is the main deck, and on the main deck there's sort of the forecastle, or not the forecastle. It's in the aft. I don't know what it's called. The aft deck. No, that is the forecastle. Hold on. It's gonna drive me insane if I don't. Forecastle.
Parts of a ship.
Ship. No, forecastle is built in the bow of the boat. Okay, so at any rate, not the forecastle. Whatever the aft castle, which is not the right term for it. That sort of equal with the main deck is sort of like the captain's area, and you get the sense that that's sort of where Ophix and Idali and Natash are sort of doing the birthing and all of the main business, and that it's fairly, the door is sort of like propped open most of the time. You can see that there is a bed in there, and there is sort of, you were in there earlier, it's where the desk is set up and all of that, and there's some sort of very frosted over, kind of silted over windows that look out the back, and it sort of fills the whole thing with this reddish orange glow. Going down below decks, the sort of hold area and the place where all of you will be sleeping is kind of partitioned off, but not by walls. They're just sort of lots of posts. Some of them have other sort of like cross slat beams through it, but there's no like walls, although they do form little rooms. In some of them, there's a whole bunch of just different crates that have like chickens. There's a live goat down there. All the way up at the bow, you see there's a tremendous amount of crates and other sort of various storage things. There's very ornate looking chests. There looks to be pieces of artwork that are kind of packed in as well. Everything looks like it's sort of very well packed in and well secured. There's also some various pieces of ceramics and vases and that sort of thing. There's just a lot of stuff up there. And on the opposite end in the stern is where there's a collection of hammocks that have been set up there for sleeping, and then occasionally there's another hammock that's sort of stretched across one of the other little offshoot rooms. And there's other stores and various things scattered about down here. It is very dark. There are some hanging lanterns down there, but otherwise there's no portholes to the outside, and so the hanging lanterns just kind of swing as the ship moves. And so there's always sort of this like scattered cascade of light down there. Everything smells a little bit musty, very damp. There is some water that leaks in, so things are not entirely dry. And so that's the kind of like lay of the land of the ship itself. So going around, and also as part of that, off to one side, there is kind of like a little bit of a galley set up, but there's no sort of big seating area. There's one table that seats probably like, I don't know, 4 to 6 people if you squeeze in. So meals are kind of just on rotation. And Cainsley has carved out a little pocket of this with his belongings and has set up. And you can see there's a couple of books and stuff there, and parchment and scrolls and such that are just kind of packed up neatly away up off the deck. What else would you like to do in all of this? Or we can
just gonna try to make nice with the crew. Make sure I'm not getting in anybody's way, and do whatever tasks are assigned to me to the best of my ability. Tevin also seems like he's enjoying just like he's kind of enjoying the simplicity of like his only responsibility being to make sure that the ship keeps going and having somebody else tell him what to do in order to make that happen.
Yeah. There is a very nice sort of order to things, and there's not people barking orders and all of that. For the most part, they seem to know what they're doing. It's not the most sort of well-oiled crew, Wallesley, that you've seen, but like everyone kind of generally knows the gist of it, and some of them do come around a little bit. Sorry, I was reading something else. In the crew, they do sort of come around a little bit, a couple of them, and will kind of grab you and not like forcefully, but kind of direct you to do things, or like show you how to tie a specific knot, or like point to the sail, and you can see part of the sail is flapping, and they pull this rope in and tie it off as the sort of catches the wind again and is billowing.
I think Roswell takes to knot tying very quickly.
Yeah, and they will Wallesley sort of circling around, just very quietly adjusting things to be correct. As you roll around to dinner, the 4 of you kind of gather down. We'll say Kendra is sleeping at the moment. Gather down at the table and sit down, and one of the crew sort of brings over some bread, and at the moment there's sort of fresh, not dried or salted meat because you've just left shore, and fixes a pretty decent though modest meal for you, and sets it down, and there's ale that's poured into all your glasses, and as you're all sitting there sort of squeezing on next to you, she kind of rolls a barrel around and sits down, and Ophix just sort of sits down at the head of the table and just sort of looks over at all of you as you begin eating. So, I hope that you've accomplished everything you need to do before we set out. It's going to be 3, maybe 4 days if the winds aren't favorable before we get to where we're going. I do expect it to get quite a bit more rough, and the passage that I found is, it's guarded. There are creatures out here who don't particularly enjoy their territory being invaded, and will try to skirt out of their way. I've done some scrying, so we can evade most of them, but once you get several days offshore, things start to become a little bit more menacing. So I do ask that you keep your eyes peeled.
Sort of creatures.
Sea creatures. Very large, very hungry, very much attracted and attuned to magical items.
Great.
So any items of particular power, which I'm sure none of you are carrying. She sort of like gives you this like smug asshole look. Will draw them in faster and more voraciously. They tend to covet that sort of thing. Don't know whether they taste good or they hoard them away somewhere. The ocean's a bit too deep to find out.
Like a sea dragon.
Precisely. Only not quite as elegant dragons are. Much more majestic, in my opinion.
Sure.
You got some sort of way to bleed on something to make it not, be sniffable? That's my 8 charisma coming through.
I would say
9, whatever it is. Oh, it's a 6.
We have ways to make creatures bleed, but as far as shrouding your paraphernalia, and she just sort of gestures around at all the cases, anything else that may or may not be on board, it is perhaps a bit beyond what we can do. And to be honest, I'm curious towards the adventure itself. I'm sure it's nothing a seasoned group of adventurers like yourself can't handle.
No, by all means, I look forward to drowning again.
To each their own. The sea is here to experience. Akira, as you look down, her sitting next to you, your sword is glowing intensely.
Great.
She sort of like looks.
Here we go, we're murdering again.
Looks. She
Just right into combat.
She looks down. A little too dark in here for you, Dragonborn.
Oh yeah, it's dark. It's
Oh yeah.
very dark. It's so dark that
Really? How dark is it?
have this light glowing the entire 3 or 4 days that we are here.
She did always need a nightlight.
I am scared of the dark, actually. That's a true fact.
She says, honestly
Wonderful.
and truthfully.
Well, do be mindful. That thing will likely attract all sorts of unsavory beasts to you.
You have no idea how true that is.
I think I do. She sort of stands, straightens, cracks her back a little bit. And just to review again the rules, are we all clear?
We help. Everything gets split equally, and we don't get into your shit.
Good. We'll have a wonderful voyage. She kind of stands up. She takes a piece of bread off of sort of a roll off of your plate, Akira, and she walks back, sort of eating it, and sort of returns up to.
I will take my holy symbol out from my tucked in little shirt there and spin it around
Oh my gosh.
on my hand and do nothing.
All right.
As it has landed upside down.
Fair enough.
Cool. Love how the goddess of law and order uses random chance to
If
influence.
that thing starts spinning around her hand like Crazy Man's used to,
What?
Akira. And Tebrin holds up his hand where there's still the scar on his palm.
Wait, what's that from? What'd you do there?
From when she's put the needle through his hand to get the blood for the blood pact.
Yes.
He just holds up his hand.
Uh-huh. Yes.
High five.
Tebrin gently.
Do we need to bunk next to each other?
I won't. I'm not gonna do anything. You can bunk beside me though. I don't have, if you want to bunk by me, that's cool.
Oh boy. What is the bunking? Is it all of us in hammocks like with the rest of the crew, kinda? What's it like?
It is actually a term called hot bunking. There's not actually as many beds as there are people, so everything or hammocks. So it kind of rotates through. Looks like they've left as many as possible out for you, sort of in the evening hours as others are awake. So everybody bunks sort of in the stern. Cainsley has sort of set up his own hammock. There is one over sort of next to him. There's 4 all the way back in the stern. There's probably only about 6 or so total. And then there is one bed upstairs in the captain's quarters. Which you're guessing is the captain's bed.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course.
But those are the sleeping arrangements as of that. And so you chat with the crew, sleep, and kind of a little bit of a tossing and turning night as the hammocks sort of sway and you kind of bump into things and you kind of get a sense of how to sort of pick the ones that are oriented in the way that makes sleeping the most easy.
Before we've gone to bed,
Yep.
I do want to go up on the deck underneath the stars and whatnot, and I want to message my parents. I'll use two spell slots if I can send it to both of them at the same time.
Yes.
I mean, this is more for RP than it is for...
It's
Okay.
fine.
I'm on a boat for Aradore.
I'm on my boat.
It's a ship.
I'm on a boat to Aradore. I have my inheritance. I don't know when I'll see you again, or if I'll see you again. I'll message when I can. I love you very much. And I'm sorry we didn't spend more time together.
A little bit of time passes and you just sort of look up and out, and there are no lights on out in the top deck, just the lanterns down below, so that the light doesn't ruin the visibility for people's night visions. But there is enough light sort of reflecting off the moon. It kind of comes and goes as there is sort of partial cloud cover here. And you just sort of look up at the stars for a little bit. They kind of glimmer, maybe about less than a minute. And you do finally sort of hear back your mother's voice. Good luck, Roswell. Come home to us safely. I know that you'll have all of us in your hearts when you go.
And she probably spends another 30 minutes or so just kind of looking up at those stars, trying to make sense out of patterns that really don't exist. Following the moon on the water, just trying to calm the chaos that is Roswell Threadbane's mind.
Yep. As you kind of pace around, the
Surprise.
the deck is relatively quiet. There is somebody up at the wheel, and after about 15 minutes or so, Ophix does come out, and you hear kind of like her footsteps clack along the deck, and she just kind of like stands next to you and looks up at the stars for a bit. Truly don't get to see anything quite as clearly as you do. With everything removed, there's no noise, just clarity of the heavens above you. Does that give you more of a purity to your god?
A goddess, and I mean she's everywhere really, but it's my mind that I feel has been more cluttered, and we've been in cities and chaos for a while, so this is a brief respite. It's really nice. I can see why Walsley took to this life.
Sea has its purposes. Clearing the mind is certainly one of them. If I may be so curious, what is it that plagues your mind aside from the impending doom of your destination?
That pretty much nails it on the head. I was there before it fell. And we failed Aradore. So anything I can do to help make it right is kind of my goal now.
Interesting. And what do you make of this Torn fellow?
Can I insight check before I keep talking?
You can certainly try.
I know. That would be a 21.
All right, and what is it that you're hoping to glean?
I kind of want to know if she's trying to get information for the benefit of anything Torin is working for. Not necessarily, like, is this a curiosity that's just more? Is it information she's trying to glean to be against me? Let's put it that way.
You get the sense that there is a profound curiosity, but there's also a little bit of a jarring sort of clarity of intent. Like, she's being more direct than you would think that somebody who was trying to hide something would be. Make of that what you will. But she seems very direct in how she's approaching her questions, in a way that strikes you as a little bit like it's either like a double sort of mind game, in that, like, if I ask these things and I am being super direct, maybe they won't think I'm asking them, or there's no mind game at all, and she's just a very direct person that tries to get down to the matter of what she wants.
Okay, what was the last question again? I'm really sorry, because I got lost.
What do you make of Torin?
Oh. Torin is someone who sought out power and tried to twist everything to his will. It's kind of... I mean, we all do that, don't we? We want power in some shape or form. But to the extent to which he destroyed people's lives, destroyed the land, it's beyond unnatural. It's disgusting. He was kind of disgusting before he turned. I've never really loved people in power, so... yeah.
Yet here we are.
We are.
She kind of like puts her hand on your shoulder for a second, and then kind of turns. Have a good night, Roswell.
You too, Alfix.
She very sort of slowly paces all the way back to her quarters. As you all eventually find your way asleep, you sail for another couple of days, kind of without incident. On the third day, the winds are slow. The sea kind of flattens out a bit, and whereas before you got the sense that you were just like kind of cruising, the calm sort of lets slack the sails, and you just get this almost like we're just sort of drifting in nowhere. It feels sort of like the astral plane, but not quite as cerebral. And at about a little after midday, there's some commotion about the ship, and one of the crew members sort of scurries back, and you can hear him yell up to Natasha that's on the wheel, and he yells that he's seen something in the water. And some of the other crew members look down over the side, and everyone just sort of takes a few moments, but nothing seems to catch anyone's eye, and they all sort of argue a bit, and some of them accuse the man of making stuff up or just seeing things. And then you see Ophix kind of standing at the door of the captain's quarters, just sort of leaning on it, just rubbing her hands together. What would you guys like to do?
Loosen my sword in its sheath.
I'll climb the crow's nest so I can get a really good view.
All right.
If there's any use of control water, that would be helpful in this. I offer that up.
You're muted, I think.
Holly, we can't hear you.
Nope. Hi.
Oh, Holly.
I heard you.
Oh, Holly.
Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I just said I was going to look at Walsley's.
You do that.
Great plan.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anyone else?
I will also. I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna go all the way up to the crow's nest, but
There's various sort of like levels of rigging.
yeah, he's gonna go up a couple levels of rigging
yeah,
and try to also get a.
Crow's nest is probably about 60 feet off the deck.
I'll go up like 30, 35.
All right.
I want to stand on top.
Yeah.
I'm way up there.
All right. So looking around, I will say you have advantage on any perception checks from the crow's nest there. Anyone else has kind of normal if you're looking out for stuff. Control water doesn't seem to. I mean, you can sort of play with little bits of water that are near the ship, but it doesn't really seem to have any.
Yeah, I think my intent was to just to ask, like, if any, I think it could help. Yeah. Actually, before people ran away, I am going to cast Water Walk on our whole our crew, and then I can get up to 10 people. So 5, and then probably people that I look like that would be the most useful in making the boat stay afloat.
I like flash my shiny new ring. Not needed for me.
Okay, I pick somebody else.
All right. So snagging a couple of the crew members, they just sort of like look at you for a second, and they like look at their hands, like they look back at you, and
You can walk on water.
I ain't going in the water.
I'm just saying, if you got pushed over.
And he turns and kind of like squares himself off to you. If there's something in the water and you go in the water, you shouldn't be walking. You should be running.
Well, okay, then we'll call it water running.
So I can run on water?
Yeah.
I don't want to go in the water.
You don't have to. I'm not making you. But if
And
you find yourself there,
as you say that, he sort of turns, and then you can just see this this tentacle sort of come out and just grab sort of around him and spins. He slams, going head over heels out over, slams into the water, does not sink, like he was just slammed into concrete. And you just see him, the body, because you're still moving through the water very slowly, and goes, and then you don't see anything else. He doesn't appear to be conscious, and he's just slowly drifting back, and you can see this little like sort of trail of blood where he kind of slammed his head in going over the rails, and everyone sort of in unison draws their weapons.
So I take it my 30 perception didn't.
You can see something dark moving underneath the water, but you can't really tell what. And it looks like,
but the size of a small puppy, I'm assuming.
Actually, several. You see many things that are moving that are of sort of a separate, smaller natured variety. Those of you with, I mean, anyone who rolled perception there sees that sort of thing.
I'm looking at Walsley for direction. Like, what do I need to do?
Isn't he like several
yes, he is up in the
100
air,
feet above you?
But I am waiting for like shouts of do this or do that, or
How large is the largest shadow?
Under the water?
Would I say?
Yeah, you would say that it's probably 10 or so feet. It's hard to tell, like, based on depth or so, but
right, okay.
At least 10 feet wide, assuming that, like, it's not super far away from you, which is, it's hard to see through water for a long thing. It doesn't immediately strike you as anything, like, it doesn't seem like it's a shark or anything like that, and obviously the large tentacle is not a common shark-like thing. Ophix kind of slowly walks across the deck, sort of eyeing the horizon, not really going super close to the rails, but walks past, sort of brushing past you, Roswell. And you can see there's a blood stain kind of on the rail where this guy went over, and she kind of just runs her hand over it, and her hand just sort of glows this red, and it just like absorbs into her, and her hand just kind of like holds that energy, and she walks all the way, sort of like pacing up to the bow. Everyone's kind of watching her doing this, and as she gets up to the bow, you see another tentacle come up, and she just sort of like turns and looks at it. She doesn't sort of gesture or anything, and the tentacle goes about right here towards her, and then it just stops, and then it immediately jerks back and splashes back into the water, and she just kind of like looks over the rail down at it. Apparently something is interested but not courageous. We'll push forward. It seems like it's had its fill to eat. Be on guard. I don't think it'll bother us. And you can see Walsley, as you slowly make your way forward. The body is just sort of out back behind, and you do see this sort of set of large jaws just sort of crunch in over it. It seems like this large sort of shark-like creature, except instead of fins on the side, it has these weird sort of slender suction cuppy like tendrils that come out. Looks like they can extend sort of and stretch out as they go.
That's a sharktopus.
Yeah.
Sharktopus.
Not hugely large. If you had to say, it was probably a what's one size, a huge creature in D&D terms, and you begin to sort of press on forward. Ophix returns, the crew kind of murmuring in and of themselves. Cainsley kind of sticks his head up above the decks. Oh, what's all the fuss about? Is everything?
You missed a monster.
Oh, Can you describe it to me? And he sort of like pulls out a little sort of tome, opens it to a blank page.
I saw a tentacle. That's all I saw.
Tentacle? That's interesting. Yes, it's a common of aquatic species, I would say, for sure. You didn't manage to... No, I didn't man. Don't see it. Well, let me know if anything else pops up. I would very much like to study aquatic life, as I spent a little bit of it. He kind of like stumbles a little bit over as the ship kind of rolls a little bit, like doesn't quite have his sea legs. Haven't quite spent much time at sea. And you wane on sort of to sunset hours. Skies are building. The wind is now building from this calm. And Wallesley, you have a sense of this. There is a storm now kind of building and brewing. And normally, sort of at sea, you can see squalls sort of way off on the horizon. There's sort of like this dark cloud over an area, and then you can see almost like the sheets of rain underneath it just coming down. This one is no larger than what is sort of normal. You can see little flashes of lightning, and occasionally the lightning sort of comes out and goes across to the sky and sort of brightly lights everything up. But you do notice that rather than kind of veering to steer around like you would normally do, the ship's heading changes and starts heading towards that storm.
Seems fine.
The bosun, I'll just say, right to the storm.
Storm marks our destination, I think.
I wouldn't go that way if this were my ship. But
well, he kind of like looks back and sees Ofix like you can see all the way back, and she's just sort of like sitting at the desk, and you can see her. She has some sort of large gem that kind of glitters, and she's just kind of like dancing it over her fingers back and forth, and then like flicks it and catches it in her other hand. Goes and sort of clasps her hand around the ruby and puts it back down. Well, sure as hell ain't your ship.
yeah, I know.
Kind of pats you in the back. It's all right. I ain't never gonna own a ship neither. But yeah, we gotta track it, and it's a moving target.
You gonna strap us into places, or how's it work? You been through this?
Only in theory.
So no.
I've been out to sea plenty, but trust me, as salty as you think you may be, you ain't seen nothing like what she's described.
Yeah. I've seen some things recently that makes me believe it.
Yeah. From what I hear, this storm thing is alive.
Well, that's stupid, but go on.
Something about some creature that controls it and lives in it. And
No.
something, I don't know. Bunch of mumbo jumbo to me, but somewhere in the center of all that, there's a hole in the ocean. That's what Ofix tells us. We sail right into that hole, we come out on the other side of the world.
Jesus Christ, a whirlpool? Are you kidding me?
We shored up the front of the ship, just in case.
Are we in the third Parts of the Caribbean movie?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Well, then. Fine.
I'm ready.
How far off? How many hours?
Looking, you kind of judge, it's probably 4 or 5 hours, but from what you can tell from the man, the storm itself is actually moving. You're actually chasing it. And so you're not entirely sure. But the sails are now sort of fully unfurled, all sort of nicely in the wind. The ship itself has kind of keeled a little bit to one side as it's now sort of just racing along This is definitely the fastest that you've gone so far, and there is strong winds, strong waves building. Some of them occasionally slap against the hull and sort of come up over, not so much as to present a hazard, but definitely enough to get you pretty wet. The deck is soaked, water sort of sloshes back and forth on it. Those of you who don't have your sea legs do have a little bit of a sort of rocking and jarring occasionally when it sort of doesn't quite come down off a wave correctly, and you kind of slap into the next one and bounce. You are getting a sense of why the front of the ship is reinforced, because they are not slowing at all or taking the seas really into account. They're just going hard into it. Sails on like this through most of the evening, and you hear some shouting, and then you hear Natasha's voice sort of from right above the ladder to the holds, yelling down, and as he does, just huge, just sort of pouring of water down in. Everybody on deck! It's time!
Great. I go on deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. As you come up, you can just see it's sort of like this pale light coming as the sun hasn't quite risen yet. But there is just enough to cast this sort of like milky purplish glow over everything. And Ophix is up by the wheel. Idali herself is on the wheel. Natasha's sort of on deck, and you can see he's kind of pacing somewhat anxiously there. He has a warhammer sort of just in his hand that he's just sort of like swinging in the air and kind of like occasionally like tossing and catching and all of that. And two of the crew member have stationed themselves on the ballistae on either side. They're both loaded and ready to fire. As you look out now that you're all on deck in front, and you just see sheets of rain pouring down in front of you, and sky's kind of darkening as this just black clouds, very sort of tumultuous and rolling over each other, much more movement than a normal storm, as you slam into another wave and spray comes up. This time wave comes, there's a foot of water that sweeps over the deck as you all kind of brace yourself and reposition now closer to hold on to things. As again, you just crash back down, the ship falling tens of feet in. You sort of careen off another wave in and up, and there's a bolt of lightning that slams down right sort of next to the ship. There's this huge splash, and you can see this smoke of evaporated water coming up. You turn and go. And Wallesley, you're the first to see it, sort of out in the storm. You see this creature, probably about 10 times the size of what you saw before, just sort of breach up and then dive back in, almost squid-like in nature, as it just sort of, you can tell it's sort of matching its speed with the ship itself. And again, it falls out of view as you drop into the trough of these waves. Another wave crashes over the side of the ship, and the water washing from starboard to port as you all kind of lurch in that direction. And as you crest up over the next wave, you just see this huge, monstrous thing breach out in front of you with two huge tentacles, and as the ship crashes down at the trough of the wave again, they slam down on the front, and the whole ship jars to a stop as a bolt of lightning strikes the mast almost in unison. And you can see one of the crew members up there sort of jumps from it just in time and kind of catches some of the rigging and swings down, sort of caught tumbling into the sails as the top of the sails ignites into fire as the boat sort of like lurches and spins almost unnaturally as the torque from this goes. And you can see this huge sort of head rising out, this scaly thing with this giant maw, probably about 12 or 15 feet wide, huge spiky teeth coming down as it sort of like mashes at the air, and you can see these large yellow beady eyes coming on the face. There's just all of these sort of serrated things that arc up back, and then the two tentacles that kind of wrap around holding the front and the back of the ship sort of start pulling in, and then you see another one come up with the water, and then another one, and then on the other side of the ship, until there's 10 tentacles in total.
Brace yourselves, it's my ex-wife!
And
So
this is where we will end for tonight.
Would you say that
Gonna
there
fight
are?
a fucking kraken.
Would you
This
say that
is
there are
fun.
tentacles?
There are 10 tentacles. 10 tentacles.
Hey, I said last session we're fighting a kraken, and here we are.
Here we are fighting a kraken.
At long last.
We
I've
sure
been-
are.
I've been waiting for the kraken fight since the Oceanara campaign.
Oh my god, it's been a long time.
Oh my god.
Ship combat. Cool.
Well, this is what's happening.
So
We
how
made it.
long did that water walk last? Because
1 hour, but I can cast it again. What's nice is if someone's drowning, it can shoot them up, kind of.
Is there a way? So I just got that wand, right? Is there a way I can add to my character sheet without changing each individual spell +1?
Actually,
spell attacks?
I know there is in D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I know.
Is
there's
there a
D&D
way?
Beyond.
It would be a universal.
after stream's done, I'll talk it over with you.
Yeah.
I think I can do it.
Yeah, that seems like a good after stream thing. So, thank you everyone for tuning in. This went a couple places I didn't entirely expect, but loved. So thank you all. I'm glad we made it out to the high seas, as there's a couple things that might happen. But first, you gotta fight the storm and see if you can make it to the center, to the portal, to the other side. Excellent. Thank you, everyone, once again for watching. It was a lot of fun. I hope you liked all the bookkeeping in the beginning. Super great. Go back, rewatch that stuff. It is
Yeah.
gold. I do math.
The
Everyone loves it.
continuity will be totally thrown off if you don't watch it.
Yeah.
Please don't watch it.
Yes. Thank you for
You
anyone
should
hosting.
mute it, but watch it.
Yeah. Thank you for anyone hosting. Please go ahead and follow. I see some new followers here, which is awesome. Check out the website, ROLL20SPOTLIGHT.com, if you want to catch up on old episodes, see what we're about. Check out some of the other content. Thank all of you guys, players.
Thank you, DM.
Thank you, DM.
Thank me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your
Our-
Kickstarter got funded.
It's not my Kickstarter. 2C Gaming's Kickstarter that
you
I'm
got
participating in.
collaborating
Yeah.
on. Got
Check
funded.
out the 2C Gaming Total Party Kill Bestiary Volume 2, in which I will write some diabolical creatures to kill parties. So if you're into that sort of thing, which, you know, all DMs are, go back it. And it's going to be fulfilled very quickly. So you'll have the book by June, which means I got to get writing.
That is very soon.
June is soon.
June is soon.
So, all that said, again, thank you to our sponsor, Roll20. Always very appreciative to be part of the Spotlight program, and we use Roll20 as our platform.
Yeah, and thank you to Michaela Scott as well, because I think we forgot to shout her out at the beginning, but she did the great art that we have for the characters who did not die untimely early deaths. So everybody except for Walsley has
Ouch.
character art by Michaela Scott, who you can find at Jubilucky on Twitter, and who is incredible and who I believe has commission slots open at the moment. So you can check her out for
Yeah.
that as well.
Super receptive to feedback too. She took all of these guys' notes and kind of brought their characters to life, which was super cool to see. And the teenager NPC that they killed.
And the teenager NPC that they killed.
Maybe
Kendra killed.
maybe
Not
we'll,
all of us killed.
All right.
Not all
On
of us
that
killed
on
them.
that note, we will sign off. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great week. We will see you next week, Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, what's our takeout line?
Don't get eaten by a kraken.
Don't get eaten by a kraken, ladies
Or
and gentlemen,
sharktopus.
or a sharktopus.
Different. Either way.
We'll see you next time. Don't get eaten by a kraken or a sharktopus. I'm not gonna whisper this until we're really offline. Just for a second. Or a sharktopus. Okay, bye.